Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
Hi,
Happy
Jenny.
Friday.
How are you?
Good.
Boarding school, Jenny. Oh, Johnny Cash, Skip. And me, look at the
Boarding school?
Yeah, you like your dress with going to board.
Proper.
Really?
Look at your boy, Skip. How you like this,
I
Skip?
think you are in the
How you like
same
this,
boat
Skip?
as me.
You know who looked good last night?
Who did?
LeBron James.
Oh.
You know,
bro.
I watched his game last night, and he didn't even play. But he looked good sitting on the end of the bench.
You know you a hater.
Is that all there
At
is?
some point,
Is that all you
at
got?
some point in time, the man didn't even play. You found a reason to criticize.
I told you he looked good.
So what?
That's
You
tough.
didn't like the color of his suit. He did not sit.
I couldn't see what
he
his
didn't really like his.
t-shirt
He didn't like his teammate. It was Nipsey Hussle. You didn't like his.
Was it
team-
Nipsey
yeah.
Hussle?
He didn't
I
sit like
like
next to his teammates. I'm sure somebody's gonna find something to say.
Yeah.
He wasn't sitting on Kyle Kuzma or Lonzo's lap, so
Really?
he can't like his teammates.
I love LeBron James.
I can't tell.
Okay, so now we're using that to start the show. We have a lot to get to today on this Friday. So Kevin Durant, so he's not too happy with our guy
that could
Shannon.
be trouble
we will
for next
explain
year.
that. And then why is everyone pointing the finger at Magic for the Lakers' troubles?
Somebody's
We'll get
got
there
to
too.
take the fall.
But we have to start in Green Bay because Bleacher Report released a very detailed article yesterday that goes deep into the dysfunctional relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy and how it prevented Green Bay from becoming a dynasty. Former Packers said Rodgers would constantly ignore play calls and thought McCarthy had the lowest IQ of any coach he ever had. Another huge claim was that McCarthy would be late to team meetings because he'd be getting massages in his office. Yesterday, he refuted that, saying, quote, "To say that I skipped a team meeting for a massage is utterly absurd." Shannon, do you believe McCarthy?
No, because this seems too far-fetched for it not to be true, Skip. They say the only difference between truth and fiction must make sense. Of all the things they could have made up, they could have said, you know what, Mike McCarthy blows off team meetings because he's in his office sleep. Mike McCarthy blows off team meetings because he's in his car in the parking lot on the phone.
Too much detail?
Yes, of all the things they could have made up, you make this, he's in his office getting meetings. Skip, Greg Jen, and let's stick with McCarthy first.
Okay.
For me, like I said, he was my position. He was at the Pro Bowl. I made the Pro Bowl. He was my position coach in I think I made 93, 90 going into the 94 season. I made the Pro Bowl.
Mike
McCarthy.
Okay.
He was in Kansas City at the
Right.
time.
Coaching Joe Montana.
Actually, he was quality control.
Okay.
Quality control does no coaching.
All right.
Quality control. Now, when I was playing, which was in the 90s, and he was quality control, they hold up the cards for the scouting team. They hold up the cards for offense and defensive scouting team.
Yep.
They spot the ball and they get the play, hand the play sheets out to the offensive coordinators and to the head coach. That's what the coaching quality control does. Now, maybe they changed that title and they do other things, but that's what they did in the 90s. Mike McCarthy didn't strike me as a guy, Skip. I didn't think of him when he was with me. I was like, man, this guy really knows his stuff. I didn't see him as an offensive head coach, offensive coordinator or a head coach. Gary Kubiak, my quarterback in Denver, Skip, I knew early on, I said, he's going to be a coach because of the way he could talk, the way he talked. And like, okay, Shannon, what did you see on this? What were you thinking about it? This? Like, okay, I can see him as that.
All right.
I didn't see this as Mike McCarthy, but it went sideways in a hurry. And he bears some culpability, but I put the lion's share of the blame, Skip, on Aaron Rodgers.
You do?
I do.
Wow.
And
after all these
I
years.
want everybody to give me an apology because I said he was thin-skinned. I said he was.
Well, give you an apology?
Skip.
How about me?
Oh.
I've been saying it for 10 years.
Well,
give you an apology
we've been saying,
after we fought about how great Aaron Rodgers
Whoa. Two things can be true.
Oh.
He can be great. He can be transcendent great. And he can be aloof. He can be condescending.
You cannot be a transcendent performer if you're a poor leader at that position. Cannot.
Yes, you can.
Cannot. Disqualified, but go ahead.
But Skip, look, for Aaron, this article, Skip, didn't tell me anything about Aaron Rodgers I didn't know. Actually,
There were new details,
Yeah, but
but they fit into the same theme.
Skip, it makes him look worse
It
than
does.
what we previously thought about
would
Aaron
agree.
Rodgers.
Yep.
Because he strikes you. He comes across as a guy that's very condescending, and he feels he's above reproach because of his talent level. He's won 2 MVPs. He's won a Super Bowl MVP. And he comes across as a guy, how dare you say that I should have done this? How dare you think, if you're not Joe Montana, you shouldn't be able, or Tom Brady, you should not be able to have an opinion on Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
That's how he comes across. He comes across, it's everybody else's fault. Even though, I threw the ball in the dirt, but you should have run a better route. No, I ran the route perfect. You just threw the ball. And if you do not accept blame for that, he holds that against you. Greg Jennings in the article is talking about how he hugged Brett Favre when Favre was the quarterback in Minnesota. And Aaron asked him, did you have to do that?
Yeah.
Hold on, bro. You got a problem with Brett, not me. Skip, this comes across as real petty. And the biggest problem that I have with Aaron Rodgers, Skip, is that if you got a problem with Mike McCarthy, something he's saying, something that he's doing, why not have a conversation? Why bottle it up? Keep letting it fester and become all-time petty. Maybe at the time they were evaluating Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers, Skip, maybe Alex Smith was the better quarterback. We've seen this before. Just because you're better in 2004 doesn't mean you're going to be better in 2010 and beyond. So Aaron Rodgers has surpassed him. Okay, but you're going to hold that against him?
And Mike McCarthy was not the primary decision maker for the San Francisco 49ers.
As if he was making the call,
He didn't make the final
Well,
call.
Skip,
did he have input? Probably he did.
He should have went to bat for me. He should have said, I want Aaron Rodgers. And like they would have listened to Mike McCarthy.
Okay, because you just said you weren't all that impressed with Mike McCarthy to begin with.
I was not.
Okay.
I was not. I am surprised that he's gotten this far. Like I said, Skip only had a 1-week interaction with him. And it's not like we were putting in intricate plays.
No.
But I just got the vibe that I didn't see that side.
And I respect that. I respect your radar on that.
Yeah.
You would pick up right away on, is he with it or not?
Right.
You know, like, does he really get it or not get it? Okay, got it. You done?
I'm done.
This was a bombshell report, and it is lengthy. And when I finished, you got a whole thing there? How many? It was like 30 pages printed?
They actually could have read a book. This could have been a book.
It was close to bookish. And when I finished it, I actually wanted more. I think there might have been more, but I think the writer, and he deserves some credit here, Tyler Dunn, who did cover the Packers and is very close, knows Greg Jennings, our guy, very well. I felt like there was more to it than he could even write, because I think at some point you just have to say enough is enough.
Right.
But my bottom line takeaway from this was, as scathing as it was on Mike McCarthy, and it is scathing, it is even more so on Aaron Rodgers.
100% agree.
And he comes across as even worse, than Mike McCarthy came across, which is pretty shocking, because the top third of it is more about Mike McCarthy.
Correct.
And a quick point on the massages. I am with you on this. It even went so far as to point out that one player who shared the same masseuse with Mike McCarthy was the one who divulged that, hey, she let it be known to the player, let it slip was the key word, that Mike McCarthy was hustling her up the back stairs to his office so he could take a massage break on a Saturday. Not cool. When again, the players are saying, well, wait a second, you are the primary play caller here, and on Saturday, which is just to let you cross the T's, dot the I's, right? You're not doing much, you're walking through. But you have to be in the middle of it if you're going to call the plays, right?
Skip, I want to be fair to Mike McCarthy. Gary Kubiak ran all the meetings. He did all the walkthrough things. Mike called the plays on Sunday.
He did?
He did.
Okay.
Later.
Okay, so Mike wasn't really hands-on during the week as much?
No.
Okay, well then that's fair.
No,
but they didn't have that 1 and 1A.
Right.
There was no 1A. It was Mike McCarthy all the way.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to say this one more time, because I took a lot of heat for this over the last 10 years. I have said for at least a decade that everything in this article is what I thought Aaron was from the start. He can be a thin-skinned, finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva.
No, Skip, no say can be, is.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying he always is, but he resorts to that when he's under the most heat. And he will turn on his teammates. He will shut out teammates and coaches. If he decides that you're not with him like Greg Jennings. He just turned on Greg, who was his wavelength. They had tremendous rapport, and it's one of the greatest throws in Green Bay history. And Green Bay's got a lot of great throws, but the throw to Greg Jennings that we showed yesterday, it's clinched the Super Bowl, and they had fallen into a 3rd and 10 trap at their 25.
Got a procedure, now it's 3rd and 15.
3rd and 15, I believe it was, and wham! It's a gunshot right up the seam in between Ryan Clark and Troy Polamalu, and Greg made a nice. It was a great throw and a very good catch, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it went from there to the anecdote in here about Greg Jennings that as he was in his contract year, Carlos Rodgers, then of the 49ers, was kidding him about, why are you running so many short routes? And he said, well, I'm in a contract year, and Aaron overheard this, and Aaron says, yeah, why don't you guys come and get him? And Greg was just crushed over it. It hurt his pride. Like, this is my quarterback.
Right.
And he's telling the opposition, yeah, come and get him.
Y'all should get him.
Yeah, and it burned the bridge in Greg's mind to Aaron.
Yes.
So they were done, and then they continued to squabble and spat and have all kinds of issues going forward, and then Aaron completely shut him out. When Greg went back to do a media piece on the Packers, Greg would not even acknowledge his presence. Aaron wouldn't acknowledge Greg's presence. So now, back to this big picture. The first bombshell line is that nobody holds a grudge in any sport like Aaron Rodgers.
I believe it.
Well, that's a mouthful. In any sport, I don't know how Tyler Dunn could exactly know that, but that's okay. But that's quite a statement. And it does go back to he held that grudge, real or imagined, against Mike McCarthy from the start. So I have to go back to Ted Thompson, who had come the year before. Mike Sherman had been fired, and it was time for him to go pick his hand-picked coach. So he goes and picks the guy that Aaron Rodgers believed was the guy who did him in with the 49ers, and that was his home area team. Remember, he's in their
Bay Area
jurisdiction, right? And so the irony was that Ted Thompson actually picked Aaron Rodgers as he plummeted down the first round and had to wait 4.5 hours in the green room, was humiliated by that. And yet then he turns around and picks the coach that Aaron believes did him in to be the first pick in the draft.
But Skip, I don't think Ted Thompson knew that
didn't.
Aaron harbored those type of
I guess
feelings.
he did not. Okay, so I told you yesterday that if I were running the show, if I were at the top, and I found that out early on, I would say, I have to remedy this. And you know how I always tell you, I'm going to side with the franchise quarterback every time.
Right.
So at that point, if I'd found that out a year in, I'm just going to fire Mike McCarthy because it's not going to work.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You got to realize Brett was there for 3 years.
And he wasn't even the starter
Right,
yet.
so and remember, he doesn't voice anything.
No.
He just holds it in.
It says he does not like confrontation.
Right. He just likes to hold it in, and then you wonder why. Well, why the dude talking? He was just talking to me yesterday.
Fair enough. My takeaway from this bombshell report is that it wouldn't have mattered who the coach was. I don't think it's going to matter who the coach is now. That Aaron, if things don't go exactly his way, he's going to scapegoat and blame that coach. LaFleur. So it's possible LaFleur will get blamed in different ways, but similarly that Mike McCarthy did.
Skip, you remember we talked about it because LaFleur had said he had not met Aaron Rodgers face to face. It makes perfect sense because in this article it says Murphy hired him without Mark Murphy without asking for Aaron's permission.
Right.
And he says, "Don't be the problem." Well, even if you hired,
told him that on the phone.
Yes.
Don't be the problem. Woof.
Even if you didn't ask his permission, you tore his contract up with 2 years left, and you gave him almost $200 million. What do you think that is? Skip, you just empowered him. You emboldened him. He has final say. He's going to be determined whether...
By the way, the most scathing remarks were from Jermichael Finley, who does not like Aaron Rodgers, and that was the quote from him. You gave a man $200 million? He's the GM. He's the organization.
Yes.
Okay, so you just said, here.
Well,
you make all the calls.
I'm not going to ask your permission, but we're going to give you so much money that push come to shove, guess who's getting shoved out the door? It's not going to be you, Aaron. And you could look at him, and I knew this about him. And like I said, I'm not going to take anything away from the guy's talent because he's unbelievably talented. I believe
he is that.
I believe he's the most gifted thrower of the football, and I've seen a lot of them.
I still think Marino is slightly more, but it's close.
Yes.
It's close. I will give you close.
But, Skip, it's hard to deny. You
Yep.
watch. See, because the thing is, in the heat of the moment, you can't hide your true emotions.
Nope.
You can't hide your feelings.
Yep.
And that finger pointing and that, do this when you think the guy should have run. Look. Whatever we did, if we do it in practice, okay, I'm going to do it in the game. But don't you throw the ball one way and talk about, well, you should have known. No, I shouldn't have known where you was going to throw the football because that's not what we practice. He's thin-skinned. He's aloof. He's very condescending. As I said it before, Skip, he feels that he's above reproach now, whereas some guys want to be. I'm not sure, Skip. I'm not so sure if Bill Walsh was his coach, rest his soul, that Aaron Rodgers would feel any different.
I agree.
Because he feels he's the smartest guy to ever play that position.
He does.
Because he's so talented, because he can do things no other quarterback can do. Skip, this is a horrible look for him. I don't know how he gets out from under this. And then, like I said, the thing with his parents, I don't get into his family. How he deals with his family is how he deals with his family. But
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but it gives you an indication.
It does.
Of how he deals with people, and maybe somebody said something. Maybe it was because of his brother went on TV and says, I don't have a relationship, or he hadn't called.
Yeah.
That was it. Because in this article it says basically all it takes is one thing, and it's over.
And that's the grudge part.
Yes.
That's the
mentioned
grudge
over
part.
and over again.
Then going a level deeper, Jermichael Finley says that Aaron wants his. He wants to eat. He cares about his yards, his completions. He's going to have a hard time because that's like an addict. So after a while, he started to fall in love with his numbers, and he's going to protect his numbers. And I kept bringing up all last season. He shattered his own NFL record for throwaways. And now it makes more sense to me because if he didn't like the play that was called, that was sent in,
Right.
he's not going to be into it. And the odds are he's going to say, this isn't working. I'm just going to throw it in the fifth row.
Right.
I'm not going to risk an interception on his play call.
Wow.
But it also pointed out that last year, at least a third of the plays, by estimation, he called or overruled. So he just recalled the play in the huddle. That's a lot of plays to recall,
And
right?
Skip, here's the thing. If the coach sends a play in and the quarterback says it's some bull jive, what do you think the other 10 guys are going to think?
Okay. And how about the two kids in the huddle who were in and out of the huddle? Equanimous and Valdez-Scantling, because this goes into gory detail about how they were under the gun. Who do I listen to? Should I say, if Aaron tells me, and it gave the one about Equanimous that I think it was him, that he was told the play call was for a corner route.
It was for the Patriots.
Okay? And Aaron says, no, run a post. So he runs the post. It doesn't work. He goes to the sideline, and his position coach is saying, what are you doing?
Because the thing is, Skip, he got pressure.
Yep.
He runs the post. Aaron throws the flag.
He threw the flag.
And so the coach goes to the sideline, hell, son, that was a catch. You're going to be right there.
And he took the blame because he didn't want to blame his quarterback because he's afraid that the quarterback would doghouse him like he did so many others. And Valdez-Scantling would go against it and just say, no, I got to run the play called. And down the stretch, the last 4 or 5 games, he found he was getting no footballs.
Yeah. Do you actually think a rookie is going to ad-lib on a quarterback of Aaron Rodgers' ilk? Do you think a guy's going to come in and ad-lib on Tom Brady or ad-lib on Drew Brees? Absolutely not.
Okay.
They're going to do exactly what the quarterback tells them to do.
Okay. And then there was the sad case of one Jeff Janis. And I used to really like Jeff Janis when he was at Wisconsin. And he was a bigger Adam Thielen to me.
Yes.
Because he's more, 6'3", 220. He's just a little bigger, and he ran 4.4. And Tad Thompson, I thought, stole him in the 7th round. And he immediately became a Packer fan favorite because he was a Wisconsin kid.
Right.
And Aaron did not like it. And so Aaron doghoused him and just basically ran him out of Green Bay. And a lot of people are saying he could have been really good. And Aaron decided, not on my watch.
Yeah, it seems like nothing that Janis could do was ever good enough for Aaron.
Yeah.
It was always something, maybe he was a yard too deep or a yard too short. And maybe, Skip, because Janis was a Wisconsin kid. Wisconsinite is what they call him.
You've spent a little time up there with your brother.
Maybe just a tad.
Yeah.
Maybe, Skip, because the fan and Skip, he's a hometown kid. He's a hometown kid.
Well,
so obviously, to see one of your own make it,
Yeah.
of course. And maybe, that rubbed Aaron because, I need all the praise.
Yep.
I need all the adulation.
I got it.
It's not enough. I mean, if I got 15 trophies, I need 16. I don't want to give you anything. It's enough. It's enough praise and adulation to go around, Aaron. But Skip, this is scathing. This does not. He looks worse. And everybody thought he was thin-skinned. But Skip, when people talk about him in this article, the one word that comes up more than any is sensitive.
Oversensitive. And our Greg Jennings in the article finally concludes there's no one there to hold him accountable. Yet Mark Murphy is attempting to be that guy, and he has been their CEO. And for those who don't remember Mark Murphy, this is a little before your time, but he played for the Redskins, and he was a good player. Made a couple Pro Bowls, made a first-team All-Pro, led the NFL in interceptions, won a couple of rings with the Washington Redskins in the 80s. Then he played at Colgate, was undrafted, but he went back to Colgate, athletic director, then athletic director at Northwestern, and elevated right into a CEO position of the Packers. So he was the one who chose LaFleur, and he was the one, as you point out, who called Aaron to tell him, and again, I was wrong on this one because I just suspected that Aaron chose LaFleur because he was just some guy who would listen to Aaron, but apparently Aaron had zero input into this call. And when the call came from Mark Murphy, Mark, as you point out, concluded with, don't be the problem here. Don't be the problem, and that he's tired of all of his diva behavior.
Well, you should have thought about that before you gave him $200 million.
Okay.
But so what else, Skip? There's another guy that tweeted something about accountability and holding. You remember Winston Moss?
I do.
He tweeted that.
We had him on the show.
And he talked.
Yeah.
Everybody talked about McCarthy, and McCarthy is not without fault here. But say we got to hold everybody accountable. And I'm not so sure that we're holding 12 accountable because we're letting him skate. And so there's a tendency to do that because the guy's immensely talented. Oh, it can't be his fault. But there's a little thing, Skip. Talent and leadership, they do not go hand in hand.
No, they do not.
You have to work. See, Skip, talent is God-given. Leadership is something that you have to constantly work on.
And Jermichael concludes he's just not a born leader.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, you anointed him, you put the C on his chest. Oh, he's quarterback, he's the most talented player. There's no way you can be. I mean, I can't believe the pettiness of this man.
Okay.
Greg Jennings, Skip, I hugged a teammate. I mean, what? I mean, I have friends, I would hug him. And for my quarterback, Giannis, like, you gonna do that? Man, if you don't get out my face.
But that was the guy that Aaron, and Aaron always says, I don't want to become that guy, become Brett Favre. And now there's a quote.
You're worse.
Like you're becoming him. You're beyond Brett Favre.
Skip, I told you, my grandfather used to say, boy, if you're not careful, you'll become the very thing you despise most in a person.
Correct.
And what does he become?
He has become that guy.
Just looking at every page that's in front
How about
of you.
that?
How big
How many
this
times
report is.
Look how many circles I got in here.
But hey, Skip, guess what? As I'm reading this, you didn't feel like the guy just kept going. It didn't wane.
No.
It did not wane. It was from the first page to the very last page. You're like, oh my.
Yeah, like you kept reading and finding out something new.
You need to go and finish this. You need to write a book on this.
So my bottom line, I have to say
bottom
this.
line.
There's no way Tom Brady has half of this talent. But Tom Brady is a natural-born leader, and that's what makes it work.
Make guys want to play for him and play with him.
Yep, okay.
Okay, we gotta move on because here's the thing. Kevin Durant is going after Shannon.
What?
We will discuss next.
Yep.
No mercy. The Lakers' terrible season is almost over, and now the attention is on what they will look like for LeBron's second season in LA. The Athletic polled a dozen league execs on which non-playoff teams have the brightest future. The Lakers, well, they came in fifth, and the execs did not have good things to say about the purple and gold. An anonymous scout said, the worst thing in this league is to be a team that has an aged superstar that doesn't know it. Plus, who is going to coach that team? Doc is out. Ty Lue almost had a heart attack coaching LeBron the first time. Jason Kidd held back the Milwaukee Bucks, and Mark Jackson stood between the Warriors and their dynasty. He added, I like their young pieces, and they should have kept rebuilding. Magic has destroyed that place.
Oof.
Shannon,
Wow.
do you think there's any truth to that? It is.
Hell no, it's not fair. Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss ruined this team.
Well, they started the ball.
Giving Mozgov that terrible deal. Giving Luol Deng that terrible deal. Hold on, Magic, this is Magic's second year there, Skip. He said, give me 2 years, let me get some free agents, and then you can evaluate me on that. Okay, this is their 6th consecutive year of missing the playoffs. Magic's been there 6 years? Skip, it's easy to say, well, you shouldn't have traded that guy or you shouldn't have got rid of that guy. Yeah. I believe Magic did the right thing in removing D'Angelo Russell, given what he had done.
I'll buy that.
I have no problem. And then, do you believe, see, he has to have freedom. D'Angelo Russell needs freedom. I don't believe D'Angelo Russell could play like he's playing alongside LeBron James. I don't believe that he could. I could be wrong.
No, I'm with you on that.
So, Julius Randle, okay, we can debate that.
We can definitely debate that.
Maybe Magic thought, well, hell, he's too much like LeBron. He needs the ball, blah, blah. I get all that. But to say Magic, for the 6-year turmoil or the tailspin that they...
By the way, would Brook Lopez have fit with LeBron?
I think so.
Yep.
Big stretch. I mean, he's basically Kevin Love.
He is.
Minus the rebounding.
I agree.
But to say for 6 consecutive years in which the Lakers have missed the playoffs, that Magic is the sole blame. Has Magic had some missteps? Yeah, because in putting this team together, he did not put a team together in which LeBron is used to playing with and have had success with. They got playmakers, but no shooters. LeBron normally has shooters and only a handful of playmakers. And if you really look at it, only D. Wade and Kyrie has only been the playmakers that he's ever had. Success is with shooters. So Magic does bear some responsibility. But to say Magic has wrecked the team, I think that's a stretch, Skip. I really do.
This is hard for me because you know how much I love Magic Johnson. But I'm trying to be objective. Magic has not exactly distinguished himself as an executive. And we have seen a long history in this league of former stars try to be executives or coaches and fail at it.
Yes.
We've seen some who did rise and thrive. But oftentimes, Michael Jordan, it just doesn't work. For whatever reason, Michael Jordan was so gifted, he just can't see who can play or who. It's just like, well, everybody can play, so I'll just take that guy. Well, maybe that guy can't play. Right? Well, everybody can do what I do. No, they can't.
It's hard to judge talent when you're that talented.
It's hard. That's the bottom line. So is it possible that's operating with Magic? I didn't think it would because usually the point guard can see it and feel it better than the two guard can. Because the two guard's just moving and grooving and shooting, right? So I thought Magic could see talent, know talent, fit talent together. But so far, so bad. And I can't defend. Because remember, the first move he made was he traded away Lou Williams. And again, would Lou have fit in the long? I don't know, but he's just
off the bench.
Yes,
yes, absolutely.
But I don't know what his plan was. Did Lou not fit into his grand design?
Right.
He can just light it up.
He can.
He's made the Clippers the Clippers, like we talked about yesterday. Gallinari's had a career year, but the spark plug is this guy coming off the bench.
Lou doesn't start the game, but he definitely closes it.
He traded him, and he let Julius go. He let Brook go. I still don't get. I know it's a a little big thing, but it's a big little thing, is Zubats for Muscala? What is that about?
I have no idea.
Because you love Big Zoo.
I did.
You were raving about him, and all of a sudden he's a Clipper.
Yes.
And you didn't just trade him away, you traded him to your crosstown rival.
But for what?
Or your in-house rival,
right?
Yeah, for what? For nothing. And then we had Andrew Bogut yesterday saying that Magic just flat out lied to him, which just I don't know, it left a sour taste in my mouth because I respect Andrew Bogut. He was the first overall pick, and he's been around, and he's won championships, and he knows how this game is played on and off the floor. He knows what's right and what's wrong. And he said they just flat out done him wrong a year ago. So he's gloating a little bit because now he's back in the saddle with Golden State and playing probably a pretty key role, I would think, going into the playoffs. But there's another one. And then, obviously, Magic signed off on Lonzo, and I still love Lonzo, but it came with a whole lot of issues and problems, and you got the hometown kid trying to live up to Magic saying his jersey's going to be lifted into the rafters one day. And it's just one bad idea after another, none of which have really turned to gold yet.
Right.
So am I going to condemn him? No, I'm not going to condemn him. But it was interesting to me. Jeannie Buss did another podcast the other day, and there's some powerful quotes in here about what she thinks. And she says she loves Magic, that they're completely aligned as partners and they think alike and they're very close. But she also raved about Luke. She just went on, and she made the point that for years her partner was one Phil Jackson, as we know, for 15 years. And she said, Phil used to say, Bill Walton may be Luke's dad, but Luke is my son. That's Phil Jackson said that because obviously Luke came in as a Laker and played with the Shaq Kobe teams. And obviously Jeannie took that to heart. So she probably considers him a little bit like her son, right?
Right.
Okay, so she did finally say in the podcast, when it comes to basketball decisions, I always defer to Magic. But is Luke really a basketball decision? Because you could disqualify that remark as saying basketball decisions are like personnel, like do you trade Zubats, right?
I don't necessarily agree with that because it was reported Magic wanted to fire Luke Walton during the season.
That is correct.
And Jeannie Buss said no.
Okay.
So clearly she wasn't deferring to Magic. Skip, but to your point, when Magic traded D'Angelo Russell, look, he knew 2019 was the big year free agency. You can't do anything if you got Mozgov at $16 million. You got Luol Deng at $17 million still on your books. So he had to get that, and the only way that he could get Mozgov, because the D'Angelo Russell, not only did I feel he had to move him, it was also the Nets were willing to take Mozgov contract. So you got that off the books. So you're trying to gear yourself up. Paul George was the big name out there in 2018. Well, we're going to try to make a run at him. We didn't get him. Okay? And plus, that's one of the reasons also, Julius Randle, because that would have been $12.9 million, Skip, on the books. You wanted as much cap space as you possibly can have. Okay, now, you still have, $40+ million in cap space to land one of these big-time whales. And that's what Magic, he already got one. Contrary to what you think. You can say LeBron knocked on his door, came in and sat on his couch and started eating all you want to. But he was the biggest free agent available, and the Lakers got him.
Okay.
Now, he has an opportunity to get one more, to pair with LeBron. Or two. I don't know if you can get two max guys, Skip. I don't know. I don't know if Jeannie Buss wants to go into luxury tax like that, Skip. But, hey, it's possible.
I think right now she'd do whatever required to put them back on the map.
You might be right, Skip.
Yep.
But to say Magic, and like I said, Skip, I agree with you. Magic has not let's see. Because everybody,
that's fair. Let's see.
Skip, everybody wants instant oatmeal.
Okay.
Oh, just let's stir a little bit. Wait, let it take 5-10 minutes.
But back to Jeannie, she said about Magic, we're as tight as any two people, any two executives. That can be a good thing, and that can be a not so good thing.
Right.
So she's very pro Magic. She
Right.
said we share the same mission and purpose and what we want to accomplish here. And I think she's very pro Luke. So it's possible she just wants to keep going forward with what's in place, and it's possible what's in place is just not working.
Right.
Because all of these quotes and this vote about which of the non-playoff teams have the best shot, the Lakers get no shot here. The first was, I think you went through this, but Dallas had 32 points, 5 first-place votes, and the Lakers are way down here with 5 votes, 5 to 32 for Dallas. So, again, this one, was this a scout who said this? I think it was a scout, but the one that was an anonymous scout. But he's not only talking about Magic has destroyed that place, but the worst thing in this league, says the scout, is to be a team that has an aging superstar that doesn't know it. So he's really crushing LeBron. He's saying LeBron is on the downside and doesn't realize it yet, plus who is going to coach the team, and you read the rest of it.
Right.
Okay? Well, that's why Juwan Howard has vaulted to the top of the Vegas gambling list, because
Skip, you know what? Before we judge and say LeBron has hit the wall, let's put some pieces. I don't care what anybody says. You do not put a puzzle together if pieces are missing. So you can be the greatest puzzle solver in all the world, but if there are pieces missing, let's get LeBron a few pieces and let's see. We'll get an opportunity to see, but it's easy to say that now. Oh, he's declining. When he's been injured and guys have been in and out of the lineup, and the pieces that LeBron is used to playing with aren't what he's playing with currently. So we'll see. Let's see what 2019, let's see who they can land. Let's see some of the auxiliary pieces that Magic can put in place, and then we'll judge LeBron James moving forward.
Okay, I agree with that. I will do that. But I still say the recipe in place smacks of disaster. The recipe. Jeannie close to Magic, Jeannie close to Luke. LeBron is the centerpiece, but is he in year 17 still that guy that can carry the whole show?
Well, the thing, and this is why you don't really get close to people that subordinates. There's a reason why in the military, Skip, they don't have you fraternize with subordinates because it clouds your judgment and makes decisions very, very difficult. Because she's gotten close to Luke, and I believe it's clouding her judgment, and it's going to make it very, very difficult if and when Magic comes to her and says, Jeannie, we need to move in a different direction as far as coaching.
I still say, bottom line, there's only one magic potion for this, and it's KD and Kyrie.
Man, look here.
KD and Kyrie. That would fix all of this. Then it wouldn't matter how close anybody is.
Well, yeah.
KD, Kyrie, and LeBron.
Well, we saw what Luke Walton did when he had all these guys there.
He did well.
Yeah, did very well. Yeah.
And did he have KD then?
I don't think he had KD. No, that was the 73.
No, didn't
that was the 73 and 9.
Yeah,
remember, he started like
they didn't have KD.
Yeah.
So he did pretty well.
That would change it. That would make it better. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
We're going to stay talking about KD.
I don't know. We're going to see if he wants to come to L.A.
No mercy.
Hey everyone, Jenny Taft here, and thank you for listening to the Undisputed podcast. If you like what you hear, then you should subscribe to the First Things First podcast featuring Chris Carter, Nick Wright, and Jenna Wolfe. The First Things First pod breaks down the biggest stories in the world of sports, so if you like the NFL, NBA, college sports, then you're going to like this podcast, the First Things First podcast. The First Things First podcast drops Monday through Friday with a special weekend edition as well. And be sure to catch the show live on TV before us every weekday at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Now, back to our show.
No mercy.
So here's the thing. Well, the Lakers, they did play last night, if we can call that playing. So LeBron, though, didn't play against the Warriors, but he did have a lengthy mouth-covered talk with Kevin Durant, who was in action against the Lakers. And speaking of KD and LeBron, this week Shannon said, quote, as great as LeBron was, he was never going to be embraced in Miami like D. Wade. KD can win 4 Finals MVPs, and they'll never love him like they love Steph. We posted that quote on Instagram, and KD responded by calling that claim, quote, ignorance. So Shannon,
ignorance.
Did I read that quote okay? What is your response to KD?
I'm at a loss for words.
No, you?
I'm at a loss for words.
Does that ever happen?
But you know what, Skip? KD, normally I would jump in your ass with both feet together.
Uh-oh.
Because I don't like being called ignorant.
I would think
but I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna see you, and we'll have a conversation, and we'll talk like civilized young men. Because I don't like to be called ignorant.
I appreciate that.
KD took what I said as a slight. I didn't say the Bay Area fans hate KD.
Nope.
I didn't say Steph Curry is better than KD.
May I point out?
Yeah.
You just spoke the truth. That's just what happened. That's just it.
It's the same, Skip. LeBron James can win 3 MVPs.
Same.
He's not going to be beloved like Kobe.
No.
Kobe grew here.
I know.
Kobe spent 20 years here. KD, that's just the way it works. I didn't say anything. It's not a negative.
Not only did the Warrior fans grow up with Steph, but his kids grew up before they're like his kids are like part
Everybody remember Riley going to the podium every night sitting on a dad's lap.
Yeah.
Correct.
And he took what I said as a slight to him somehow. It doesn't diminish KD as a player. I didn't say he was trash. I didn't say he was terrible. I didn't even question his decision. I said maybe I wouldn't have done the decision. But just because I wouldn't do something doesn't mean KD was wrong. I'm trying to see what did I say that was so bad that what KD would say what I said was ignorant. All I'm saying, you're not going to be beloved. Yes, they love you, but not like Steph. They love LeBron in Miami, but not like D. Wade.
True.
So and when one of the guys sent it to me, did you see this? And I'm looking, I'm like, see what? And so I had to go all the way to skip out. So all I saw, yeah, I know what I said. And I'm like, I texted him back. I was like, see what?
Well, when you said it, you just stated a fact.
Yes.
I didn't even think twice
So
about
Skip, I'm looking at it, I'm like, see what? Because I didn't see what KD, and I'm like,
right on it.
KD responded to what you said, and I looked, and I'm like, okay, I see easy money. I'm like, ignorance. I'm like, but it's all good, KD. Hey, bro, number love. But I'll see you around in LA, and you and I'll have a conversation. And if there's something ever I say that you don't agree with, hey, you can get to me.
You can. He can get to me. He can get to anybody.
Yeah.
I've had my issues with Kevin. What have I told you about Kevin Durant? Thinnest skinned superstar, even beyond Aaron Rodgers' thin skin. Okay? So this happens regularly.
Right.
That he gets sideways with somebody over something that shouldn't matter or that is just completely inaccurate.
Right.
I told you back in whatever year that was, 2013, he just went off on me one night for criticizing Russell Westbrook for taking more shots than my favorite player, Kevin Durant. And he said, how dare you take on my teammate like that? You don't know basketball. You're ignorant. You don't know basketball.
Right.
So wait a second. I'm defending you against Russell, and you say, I don't know what I'm talking about. And then you ended up leaving in large part because Russell's going to take more shots.
Right.
Okay? So what? I don't get it. Well, I don't get this one either. But now we get to the bigger picture. This is just the kind of little big thing that can stick in his craw and make him decide, okay, well, then I won't come to the Lakers. This is, seriously, okay? This is the kind of thing, okay, because he does watch our show. I know that for a fact. And he might just say, well, I don't want to give Shannon Sharpe what he wants. He wants me to come to the Lakers and help save LeBron, or that's what Kevin would take it as. Okay, so have you done yourself in is the question. Maybe he will remember this.
Yeah, but Skip.
You didn't mean to.
No.
It's not like you took a shot at him.
But fans have an attachment
Yeah.
to players that
They do.
start there. Skip, look, I helped the Ravens win a Super Bowl. I'm never going to be beloved like Ray, like Jonathan Ogden, like Ed Reed, like Suggs. Skip, I understand that because they started there.
Yeah.
You're a Bronco.
Yes.
Interesting, though.
Yes. And I understand that. And it's okay. KD, this doesn't diminish you. I believe KD universally is one of the two best players. Whether LeBron is one, and maybe LeBron is sliding to 3 or 4. Okay, just for this argument, say KD is the best player. All I'm saying is that the fans and how they view players, they have a greater love and an appreciation for guys that started with their organization and brought it up. They won KD, they won a title before you got there. So Steph is their guy. The little cute, cuddly, baby-face assassin is what they call it.
Assassin. Yep.
And so for you to get upset about something that I said, I didn't say you were a bum. I didn't say you were trash. I didn't say Golden State fans hate you. I'm just saying that the love that they have, and they love you, KD, absolutely. But the love they have for Steph is great. That's okay.
Okay, so here's the other truth. Kevin Durant was the biggest reason that Golden State won the last 2 titles.
Yes.
Okay, we all agree on that,
Yes.
right? And in his heart of hearts, that's what he's thinking right here, right now. Wait a second. I'm the guy.
Right.
I'm the 2-time back-to-back Finals MVP. So is it possible? Let's just do the hypothetical, and this would be a real long shot. Let's say Golden State wins the next 2 championships, and Kevin is again MVP 2 more times, so he'd be 4 championships in a row with 4 MVPs. It would start to be Jordan-esque, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would that do it? Would he then eclipse Steph in popularity in the Bay Area?
Probably not. Probably not, Skip.
It would help a lot.
Yeah, I just don't see it because Steph was there from the beginning. You came in 10 years in. Steph was here when we were struggling, wasn't making the playoffs. So
And they lived and died because it looked like, with Steph, it looked like his career was going to be derailed by his ankles. Both of them.
And some people view KD as like, hold on, you jumped on the train when the train was already moving. Yep. Steph got here, the train wasn't even out the lot. Didn't even leave the station yet. And it started going. And so, but it's okay. It's like I said, I'm sure at some point in time, I'm out I don't know, I'm not out much, but I'll bump into the KD, and I'm just going to talk to him like, bro, I just don't appreciate you calling me ignorant. I didn't feel I was being disrespectful. I would never be disrespectful. I try to be very respectful about anybody I talk about, but I always try to be truthful, Skip. And so, like I said, I'll see him out and I'll talk to him. And, like I said, I don't like being called ignorant. And if there's something that I said, you can get in touch with me and say, hey, DM me. Oh, bro, I know how to get in touch with me. I mean, you know people how to get in touch with me, KD. If you got anytime somebody got a problem with anything that I say, just reach out, bro.
Okay. Well, in the big picture, I don't think Kevin loves confrontations a la Aaron Rodgers, so I don't think he will seek out or even sort of a face-to-face with you, because that's not his MO. I think heart of hearts, he's more lover than fighter.
Yeah.
You can be the other way around.
No, Skip, I just like I said, Skip, there's a lot of things I don't like. being called ignorant is one of the things I don't like.
Well, I got you.
And I don't understand, and he just
It hit me wrong too. It's like you just dismissed all that as ignorance.
Right, and I just need him to explain where he.
I mean, he didn't exactly call you ignorant. He just said what you said was ignorance.
Right.
But whatever.
So I just need to, explain to me, because like I tried to explain to him why I said what I said. Steph was there. You came in. They still love you, but not like. And I tried to give him examples. Kobe in L.A., LeBron coming to L.A. He can win 2 titles. He's not gonna be loved like Kobe. He's not gonna be loved like Magic. D. Wade in Miami.
Well, why do you think Kyrie left Cleveland? Because he knew, like he was there before LeBron.
Right.
And he was the guy before LeBron, and they were going nowhere slowly, right?
Right.
And then he hits the shot of shots, and they win the championship. Who's the guy? Well, it's going to be LeBron.
And thing is, Skip, he hit the shot, but it's the block. People talk just as much about the block as they do the shot.
Well, it was his town for a while.
Yeah.
It was Kyrie's.
Yes.
But it's never going to be his home.
Yeah.
Like his hometown.
Skip, you can have the Wild Wild West, but when the old gunslinger comes back, everybody like, uh-oh, let's close the doors. He's back. And that's how it is when LeBron came back. Everybody's like, oh, he's back. All is forgiven. But I get it. But I just don't. I still don't understand what I said. What did I say that was so bad that would make Kevin Durant say what he said? That's what I don't get.
Thin-skinned, emotional, over-emotional, knee-jerk reactions. Lives on the internet.
Yeah.
I still believe he's great, but I still believe, I stand by what I said, I still believe that he will not be embraced in the Bay Area like Steph.
Just remember, burner accounts. Come on.
There might have been
Let me make
some
sure
other
he
words
might
on
have
there.
just said something to me on
I
here.
was just gonna say, maybe he's got some other people calling you names. I don't know. We appreciate you sharing that, Shannon. And maybe this goes back to Katie wanting to be the guy. So anytime he sees anything that remotely isn't that,
He is the guy. He's the best player on the team.
Planet.
but
Okay, he's the
known
best player on the
as
planet.
the guy. Oh, you're his planet. Okay.
Well,
All
yeah,
right.
because Durant not playing currently.
Okay.
That don't count,
right.
Okay, do the Browns have too many egos for one locker room? They sure have a few. We will discuss next.
No mercy.
The Browns have become the most talked about team in the NFL after a very interesting offseason, including the blockbuster trade for Odell Beckham Jr. ESPN spoke to a number of NFL execs about the Browns' moves, and many of them were not fans. One said, quote, "I don't see a long-term plan." Another asked, can a first-time head coach like Freddie Kitchens manage all of those egos? And another exec added, quote, "This could be a Jaguar situation where they are winning and rolling, and when they lose, everyone points fingers, and it gets ugly fast." Shannon, can you see it getting ugly in Cleveland?
I can. Skip, I look at it like this. The faster a car can go, the greater the car wreck will be. The more personalities in the locker room, the more implosive the situation can get. And you have guys, as they mentioned, Odell. You have on the opposite, the defensive side, Sheldon Richardson. You have a first-year head coach. Don't think Baker Mayfield doesn't have a personality, Skip, because we saw what he had, the disdain he had for Hugh Jackson. What happens if he ever develops that for Freddie Kitchens? I agree with what they said. I believe if things go, before I go there, and plus you have something that the Cleveland Browns haven't had in a very long time, Skip, and we like to use this word around here. It's called expectations. They have expectations now. Vegas has installed them to win 9 games, possibly win the division. See what comes along with that. So now what happens? Okay, and like you said, when the Jags were going good, they beat your team, the Pats. Everything. Woo! I told you, everybody was feeling good. Then they lose 1, and they lose 2, and next thing you know, they've lost 5, and everybody looking around, man, we suck, we terrible, blah blah blah. Could this situation happen in Cleveland? Absolutely. Because you got a lot of dynamic personality. You got immense talent, but you got a lot of personality things, Skip, and this thing could go sideways in a hurry. I just hope they get off to a good start, and that will quell some of this, because if they don't.
Which is why I keep telling you, I still think the Steelers have a little better chance than the Browns. And the great irony of these quotes, which all provide piercing insight into this situation, is that Pittsburgh is actually a more stable franchise than Cleveland, with all of its dysfunction. AB is now gone, Le'Veon now gone, versus Ben. the Steelers are still the model of consistency to me. They're the more cornerstone NFL franchise. Cleveland is still the bunch of upstarts, and they have, to the point of these quotes, they've just thrown the talent together, and I do not fault them for that.
No.
Boy, they became the center of the NFL universe overnight.
Yeah.
I love that about it, and I can't wait to watch it.
Right.
But it is the all-time recipe for disaster and implosion.
Mm-hmm.
And what we haven't talked about is what's pointed out here, that the owner's history could be a big problem, because remember, back on January 24th, ESPN's Seth Wickersham wrote a big bombshell piece about Cleveland, a la what he did about inside the Patriot problems. Remember that?
Yes.
That we talked about for months? And in this, it concludes that Jimmy Haslam potentially is the most dysfunctional owner in the National Football League, because he has hired and fired GMs on whims. And he continues to employ...
And coaches.
And coaches. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just like one after another, because he wants to be Jerry Jones. He wants to be very hands-on. And so you step back from this and you say, well, wait a second. He actually kept the former regime of decision makers, all the analytics guys, including one guy that I know very well, Paul DePodesta, who used to be Billy Beane's right-hand man and was played by Jonah Hill in Moneyball.
Right.
Okay? So that's how big Paul DePodesta was to the Oakland A's situation and their rise. And now he's switched to football because he started in Cleveland with the Indians, but he's now the right-hand man of Jimmy Haslam. He's the chief strategy officer, and one of these quotes says, wait until those analytics guys get in the owner's ear about what you should or shouldn't do. Well, that could clash with whatever Freddie Kitchens wants to do as not only a first-time head coach, he really hasn't been a head coach before, except for the back half of the year last year, because he was never even a coordinator until last year. So you throw in a bunch of players, and the most piercing insight to me was these guys all were given up on in their primes by a previous team or two or three or four, because Odell, the Giants said no finally.
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry led the NFL in catches, and the Dolphins said, we don't want you. Why was that? Well, we could go, I don't know.
Surmise, but hey.
Okay. And then we go to Kareem Hunt. The Chiefs could have said, we're going to ride it out with you. We love you. We're going to ride it out. We're going to ride out your whatever game, 8-game suspension, whatever it is. We're with you. We're going to back you on this one. They said, no, you're gone. And now he returns to Cleveland, where the incident in question happened, which could raise red flags about, this is the wrong environment for you to be in. And then I've told you from the start, I never liked Sheldon Richardson. I said this before the draft, but he went 13th overall. He's now on his 4th team in 4 years. So he's a new centerpiece addition to the defense.
Right.
You love that? I just don't.
Huge red flags.
Okay.
4 teams in 4 years.
Yeah, 4 teams in
and the
4
dude,
years.
he was Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He was. Never loved him. So again, the analogy that you used is made here to the Jaguars. As far, if it's rolling, it'll roll, man. But once it starts to unravel, then everybody starts pointing fingers in the locker room. And these are all potential finger pointers.
The year before, Skip, the Jags, where did they end up? AFC Championship game. The next year they come back, it's going to be so much better. And they get off to an okay start, but then they start losing. And the wheels come off in a hurry.
And then you don't have deep character in your locker room where they will be unified over this and they'll band together. It's us against the world. No, it's you versus you versus you, right?
But here's the thing. A lot of these guys that they're going to be counting on, especially that were brought in, were never really thought of as team guys. They were thought of me guys. And me guys normally always think of me.
Yep.
What's in the best interest of me?
Okay.
How many catches did I get? How many sacks did I get? How many rushes did I get?
Okay.
So this is going to be very, very interesting. I hope for my case of 2 cases, that Cleveland gets off to a great start.
It just went to 2?
I was like, wait, did it?
I thought we had, you got Pittsburgh. I thought you had Pittsburgh.
I do. I thought it was just 1 case, but if you want 2, I'll take 2.
No, I would take 1.
The
Okay.
I'll take 1.
One?
I'll
After
take
all
1.
this?
Yeah, I'll take 1.
I'll
So
take 3.
1.
No, I'll take 1.
You'll take 3. Okay.
I got to see how things turn out after week 8.
1. Okay.
What's funny is I just forgotten about the Haslam factor on top of this, because he's been pretty quiet through all this. But the strategy appears to be, as one of the anonymous quotes says, let's grab players and win. Well, I can't fault, I can doubt that, but I can't fault it right now, because what a splash they just made.
But Skip, we know he's impulsive.
Yeah.
Hence the Johnny Manziel.
We didn't even talk about that. Yeah.
So we know he's impulsive.
That was a draft night decision.
Right.
Because Dal Loggins, his quarterback coach, got a text from Johnny, let's wreck the league together. And he was sitting next to Jimmy Haslam in the war room and just turned next and just said, hey, look at this. And Jimmy says, hey, take him.
Right.
Okay.
So against the better judgment of his head coach and his general manager, and I don't want to give Ray Farmer all this credit because he wasn't very good in that role. But this was the one time
he said he was, the piece pointed out, he was shocked when he got the job at age 39. He didn't even know he was a candidate, and he got anointed and appointed as the new GM. But go ahead.
You just go to show you the impulsiveness.
I know.
Because he fired Rob Chud.
He did.
After 1 year.
He did.
And I'm like, I thought they were going in the right direction, but clearly he didn't think so.
Okay. I thought Sashi Brown was the right direction, and then, boom, he's out.
Well, Depot is next.
Yeah, he's next.
Yeah.
Okay. So how quickly would he overreact if they go 1-4 or whatever?
Soon.
Ooh.
Soon.
Yep.
It kind of feels like reality TV, like all these stars
It's a great
you
story.
can't turn away and you want to watch because it's probably not going to go perfectly.
Right.
But it's on that level
It's
of
either
it
going to
could
be
go
really,
wrong.
really good or really, really not.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Another place that would actually make for great reality TV. How about Green Bay? Has Aaron Rodgers created a toxic locker room? Rob Parker is here. That should be interesting. He'll answer those questions next.
No mercy.
Bleacher Report released a very detailed article yesterday that goes deep into the dysfunctional relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy and how it prevented Green Bay from becoming a dynasty. Former Packers said Rodgers would constantly ignore play calls and thought McCarthy had the lowest IQ of any coach he ever had. Another huge claim was that McCarthy would be late to team meetings because he'd be getting massages in his office. Yesterday, he refuted that, saying, quote, "To say that I skipped a team meeting for a massage is utterly absurd." We're joined by Rob Parker now. And Rob...
You wouldn't call me absurd, would you?
Never. Never a word I'd use to describe you. Just the look from Skip.
I thought you were my guy.
Yeah.
Depends where we go here. Rob, I'm going to start with you. What % of the blame do you give Rodgers, and what % of the blame goes to McCarthy?
I give Mike McCarthy 90% of the blame. And you know what? Who gets away, who skates from this whole thing is Ted Thompson, who's really kind of, is excused, and they're not really talking about the moves that weren't made.
He did pick Aaron Rodgers once upon a time.
No, I get that. And he did a lot of other things. Remember, at one time, every player on their roster, except for 2, was drafted by Green Bay, which is what his formula was.
He had a good run.
He did. But he didn't add those pieces that they needed defensively to help them win more. So that's why I'm saying McCarthy's to blame 90% of it. And McCarthy's the reason he got beat up yesterday, okay, or got beat up in his article. Because instead of just going away, you won your Super Bowl, keep your name in Green Bay, you got fired, you had a nice long run in the NFL. What was he there, 13 years?
Yep.
That's a long run as a coach in the NFL. And we all know, Shannon, you know this, when you pull the covers back from any situation, I'm talking about great, winning, you won, you pull the covers back, turn the lights on, there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on that most people don't see. Skip, you know this in Dallas, and you know this in your situations. I know in Detroit, with the bad boys, they were a good team, they won these championships. You pull everything back and people go, oh my God, it was dysfunctional. So to look at this now and go, this is the reason why they weren't the dynasty or whatever, I can't totally agree with that. Because if you look at where they were and the situations and circumstances, at no point, despite Mike McCarthy's football IQ, getting massages, missing team meetings, this team was in position so many times to make that next step. If Brandon Bostic doesn't get in the way of Jordy Nelson, is that not another Super Bowl that they're going to in Seattle?
Yep.
There's a Super Bowl.
The article said he should have been cut early in the season.
Yeah.
But Mike McCarthy stuck with him.
But you see what I'm saying? That's one of those things that, to throw that out there after the fact, that's easy to do. Here's another one. 2016, Aaron Rodgers finished the season. What do you have, like 22 touchdowns and no picks? Do you remember the run, Skip? It was unbelievable. They get to Atlanta, and the defense can't stop the Falcons at all. They give up 44 points. That was in the NFC Championship game. That was another shot at the Super Bowl. So all I'm saying is, yes, I'm going to put it all on Mike McCarthy because he was the coach, because he never fixed the defense. But I can't look at Aaron Rodgers. I think he gave them a chance every single year, every single time he went out there to win, even when you looked at their roster. And Shannon, you would say, it ain't that good, but do they have a shot?
Right.
Absolutely they have a shot because they had number 12 behind center.
I'm going to go 60-40 Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to give 40.
Woo.
I'm going to give 60.
Are you listening to this?
I'm listening.
40.
I'm about to fade.
You used to have your back on this.
Yeah, but here's the thing. McCarthy blames because he kept trotting those, he hired those defensive coordinators that kept putting those terrible defense, for lack of a better word, out there and not giving Aaron what Tom Brady has up in New England. But we're not talking about Tom. This is what I'm just saying. But
We're going to talk
No,
about
we're not going to talk
we're
about that.
not. This is not a Tom Brady topic.
It's
can
about to
imagine
be
he will
because
make
somebody
his way.
hasn't had their turn yet.
But
Patiently
also,
waiting.
for me, I was a stickler. If the meeting was at 9 o'clock, Skip, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on time. And it bothered me when players were not on time, and I let them know about it.
I was going to say, did you
If
speak
a
up?
coach, man, look here. I honestly, Skip, I went to him, and I'm knock on wood that my coaches were respectful enough because I'm like this. My time is important too. What in the hell makes you think your time is more important than mine that you can show up 5 minutes late or 3 minutes late? I had to be here on time. You get your butt here on time. So that would bother me. Skip, I'm not really bothered. I'm bothered to the sense not so much that he wasn't in team meetings on Saturday doing walkthrough or an install. I'm not upset about that. I'm upset that he was getting a massage. I think it was a Thai massage too, Rob.
Was it?
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
I did not hear
Oh, you hear that?
Don't
Oh,
make
my bad.
that into a
Oh, my
story.
bad. Maybe it was a sports massage.
Okay.
But Aaron Rodgers, Skip, if you got a problem with Mike McCarthy and his play calling or something that he's done, why not go to him? Why let it fester? If you got a problem with these receivers, why not go to him? Why hold grudges? You have to understand a rookie coming in, Mike McCarthy tells him to run a route more times than not, Skip, he's going to do that. He's like, that's the coach. That's my boss. Even though we work together, you're not my boss. And so you put them in a very tough situation because the coach is looking at you like, oh, you just going to just disobey me when I ask you to run a 7 route, a corner route, and you go to the post? But Aaron, all he had to do was say, Coach McCarthy, I'd like to have a conversation with you. And it was reported that he tried to do that, and Aaron was not amenable to that.
He was not.
So, Skip, I believe this could have been handled if your communication is key with anything. And it seems like Aaron doesn't have the greatest communication skills with anyone. But this went on. To get this bad, this was probably 5 years too late.
True. Thank you. To you.
I knew he was coming.
I'm going 75% of the blame to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, what a
and
shock.
a real solid 25% to Mike McCarthy.
Right.
Did he get too full of himself? Did he get carried away with his play calling? Yes. Do quarterbacks get too much credit and too much blame? No, they don't. It's the most important position in all of sports, and he deserves, Aaron Rodgers, 75% of the blame. Because as scathing as this bombshell piece is by Tyler Dunn, as scathing as it is on Mike McCarthy, it's far more scathing, the last 3 quarters, on Aaron Rodgers and Rob Parker. We have thought about this for 10 years, and I've told you for at least 10 years. Bottom line on Aaron Rodgers, as gifted as he is, and you can make a case he's the most gifted quarterback in the history of quarterbacks.
My skill set.
Skill set. And if I do arm and legs, it's beyond Dan Marino because Dan didn't really he had good pocket feet, but he couldn't run the ball downfield, obviously. So given all that, Aaron Rodgers is what I said he was from the start. He is a finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva who continues to either shut out or just do in people around him. If you cross him, you are done.
It's over.
It is over. And the first bombshell line in this piece is nobody holds a grudge in any sport like Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's a mouthful, and I don't know how you can really say every
How you quantify that, Skip?
I was going to say, Skip, really? So, like, does he really know every player in baseball or every player in
I don't know.
the NBA to be able to say that? Come on. That's over-the-top writing.
Okay.
You know that, Skip, as a columnist.
Okay, but is Aaron as thin-skinned as anybody this side of Kevin Durant? Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Yes, he is. So in the end, the quarterback position is so valuable in football that it is difficult to win championships when you have such a miserable leader at that position, because he's not just not a leader, he's an anti-leader. He tears the team apart because he is constantly down on receivers and coaches, and I can make the case. In fact, there's an anonymous quote that says, "We should have won 6 rings in that period." And that's been your contention
totally,
from the start. Okay.
Yeah, but my only thing is, Skip,
6 rings. But again, they won 1. And why did they win the 1? Because early on, 9, 10, and 11 in that run right there, that defense, or that offensive line, loaded with veteran Shannon Sharpe style leaders who had been around and done all that.
Yeah.
So they were able to keep the team together around young Aaron, where he didn't have to lead.
Right.
And once Ted Thompson started saying we need bargains at these positions and started letting those veterans walk, and a bunch of them were allowed or pushed right out the back door.
O-line.
The O-line, you got it. A bunch of defensive stalwarts were allowed to walk.
B.J.
Didn't
Rodgers.
resign. You got
Charles
it.
Woodson.
but let me ask you
Okay.
this.
Well, then it left Aaron as the unquestioned leader of the team. That will fail ultimately.
But if you have, Skip, and if they don't botch that onside kick in Seattle, do you look at it differently? I'm just
Okay, but you know,
I'm
I can
asking
show you. I can show you
just,
columns written by
would it be
Milwaukee
different?
columnists.
A little bit
Okay,
different,
but
though?
Rob, why were they in that position? That was probably Aaron Rodgers' worst playoff game of his career.
No, I know
Go back
he didn't,
and look at what
I
he
know
didn't
he didn't
do.
play great, and I know he didn't. They still should have won that football. They did enough to win that football game if Jordy Nelson catches that onside, which is the way it was drawn up.
Right.
Go look at the videotape when Bostic botched it. Jordy Nelson's right behind him because it was set up.
Right,
He
he's
was
supposed
supposed
to
to block, right, Shannon? And he was supposed to catch the ball.
Okay.
Simple.
Yet, Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy together made the playoffs 8 straight years. So that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Right?
That's
and
real good in the
They did
NFL.
win a Super Bowl together. That's real good, right? Mike McCarthy has a street named after him in Green Bay, okay? There were years in the Magic run there. Remember, the next year after the Super Bowl, they went 15-1, and
Lost
then
to the
Eli
Giants.
went in there and Eli'd them at
Yeah.
home like he tended to do
After
on
they
the
beat
road.
them earlier in the year.
They did do that. So remember, in that run, Mike McCarthy was regarded as one of the top play callers in football.
Right.
Seriously, I would hear that. Again, I didn't cover that team, but I would hear from NFL people I know, oh, nobody calls the game better than Mike McCarthy. Really? So is it possible that no matter who the coach would have been, no matter what grudge Aaron would have held against Mike McCarthy, it could have been Joe Blow, Aaron would have scapegoated the coach because that's just the way he is. He is a finger pointer. If anything starts to go wrong, well, it's his fault. He calls bad plays. And it degenerated to the point last year, he was changing a third of the play calls. You like that?
Well, if I like my quarterback, if he really believes it now, should you have a communication with your coach? Absolutely, because I agree with that. But if you see something better and you have the ability to change a play and make plays happen, which he's famous for, Skip, that play in Dallas,
He
right?
did that.
was not the play call.
He drew it up to
Am I
Jared
right?
Cook.
In the
Drew it
huddle,
up.
and he made that play happen.
But the thing that I disagree with you, Rob, is that, yeah, you might disagree with a play being called, but you can't be verbal about it. You can't let the other 10 players in that huddle know you feel this way. I didn't always agree with Mike's calls. I didn't always agree with Brian Billick and Matt Kavanaugh's calls. But I'm not going to say that publicly because me being the leader, well, if he feels this way, well, Shannon's played a long time, and if he feels this way, well, hell, if John don't think that play going to work, and he's the quarterback and has gone to all those Super Bowls, that play ain't going to work. Mike, I don't even know why you brought this play in here, Mike.
No,
So you can't do that. You're the guy. And as talented as he is, as talented as Aaron Rodgers is, he's equally that poor of a leader.
Thank you.
It's
Period.
as simple as that.
Close case, end of story.
No, I'm not saying he's perfect, and your point is well taken, because
Yeah.
I agree with that. But I do believe when you look at what's happened to Green Bay, And most of it is out of his hands because they just never fixed the defense. If they would fix the defense halfway, give him a decent. We talked about this with Tom Brady to bring him up for a minute. I don't think they ever gave up 40 points, right?
Once they lost the Super Bowl.
That Super Bowl game, that's the only time. Aaron Rodgers has gone down 4 times by giving up 40 points or more in a playoff game. You can't win a play. I don't care who you are. Tom Brady couldn't win a playoff game. He couldn't win a Super Bowl.
Yet, speaking of Tom Brady.
I opened the door.
He does not have the velocity Aaron can generate. I do think he's more accurate than Aaron, but he can't wing the football the way Aaron can wing. He doesn't have quite the lightning release that Aaron was just born with. You can't teach that. He can't run the football down the field on 3rd and 5 the way Aaron could just take off and get you 8 real quick. That was always underrated, I thought, part of his game. He's very athletic. And yet, Tom Brady is 10 times the quarterback to me that Aaron Rodgers is, and it starts with the intangibles. Have you ever heard one negative word from anybody who played with Tom Brady? Not a peep.
But it's hard. But Skip, when you win and you've won that often, people will look at you like you're crazy if you would have ripped a guy. I mean, let's just be honest. And it's the same way. Mike McCarthy the reason he got beat up in the fashion he got beat up is because people looked at it and said they should have won more. Had he won 3 Super Bowls, all of this stuff and all of this dirty laundry and all that, I doubt it would even surface. I don't believe it would have surfaced.
I do.
But the point is, they didn't.
No, I know. I got it.
And maybe that's the reason why.
Yes, and I said 90% to McCarthy.
Yeah, whatever.
90.
Where do we go from here? Do we need to hear from Aaron? What about LaFleur? Like, what's next?
I just want Aaron to play. That's all. Get the defense together. Let him stay healthy. Stay on the field.
Remember,
that's all.
Mark Murphy chose this new coach, unproven coach, and called Aaron to inform him, I have hired Matt LaFleur. And there was a silence on the line, according to this report. And then Mark Murphy said, don't you be the problem. Don't you be the problem, okay?
Let that sink in.
He basically laid down the law. Don't you? And then the next line was that those around Mark Murphy said he's tired of the diva stuff from Aaron.
Okay, very good.
Don't you be the reason.
Okay, so you go ahead and you rest your career on a rookie coach who had never been a head coach versus a guy who's an iconic player who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
That's what Skip told you. When you come on, don't you be the reason why Skip and Shannon failed.
That's a good point. That is true. What? That's good. That's the bottom line to this discussion.
Don't you?
Okay, well, who is the reason why the Lakers have had a terrible season? We're going to talk about that. Are we going to blame Magic for the issues we will discuss?
Now, that might be a different story.
No mercy.
The Lakers' terrible season is almost over, and let's take a look at what an anonymous scout said about the team's future. The worst thing in this league is to be a team that has an aged superstar that doesn't know it. Plus, who is going to coach that team? Doc is out. Ty Lue almost had a heart attack coaching LeBron the first time. Jason Kidd held back the Milwaukee Bucks, and Mark Jackson stood between the Warriors and their dynasty. I like their young pieces, and they should have kept rebuilding. Magic has destroyed that place. We are joined by Rob Parker. And Rob, do you think there is any truth to that?
There's truth in some of that. That was a strong quote there.
Yeah.
Even giving Tyronn Lue a heart attack. I mean, that was kind of,
He needed a sabbatical.
Right. But that's kind of strong, though. Yeah. But yes, is there something to this? Absolutely. This has been mishandled from the beginning. Starting even before, this started with Paul George. I've said this, Shannon, that Magic not wooing Paul George is the reason why this won't work out in L.A. Because had they started with him to go with LeBron, look at where they would be. Right. And then they would just be looking to add another piece.
Are you sure Paul George just wanted no part of it?
Well, but I'm just saying, but part of it was, and I get the LeBron factor, but I'm saying Magic thought it was in the bag. And you can never believe, Skip, it's in the bag. I got to woo you. I got to tell you I want you. I can't say, oh, this is the Lakers. Everybody wants to play here. Because you know what? In Kobe's final years, nobody wanted to come here and play with the Lakers. Dwight Howard gave up $30 million to leave the Lakers. These are all true facts. So I'm saying Magic has not handled it right, and now here we are. Yes, LeBron is an aged superstar. He doesn't have the same impact. The numbers are still good, Shannon, but would you agree?
Yeah.
The impact isn't there. They couldn't beat the Hawks. They couldn't beat New Orleans without Anthony Davis. They couldn't beat Memphis. They couldn't beat the Suns. I mean, it was just ridiculous. This is after they still had a chance to make the playoffs, but they had a chance to make the playoffs. And then you look at it and go, where do you go from here? What will Magic be able to do? And I don't think there's a lot that he can do. If nobody wants to come play with LeBron James, you're in trouble. When you look at how are you going to get Anthony Davis? If I'm New Orleans, maybe I don't want to make a trade with the Lakers no matter what they offer. And then when you start to look at the pieces, Brandon Ingram has a serious situation with the blood clots.
They said he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but it also was the reason that Chris Bosh's career came to an end. I'm just saying, Lonzo Ball hasn't been able to stay healthy in either of his 2 seasons. So when you start looking at the pieces, are they as attractive for New Orleans? So say you can't get Anthony Davis for another year until his free agency. When you add that up, add the fact that LeBron did have something to do with the players that they did bring in. It wasn't just Magic. I do not believe that Magic brought in those guys without talking to LeBron James. I don't believe that for 1 second. So it's a mess. Instead of calling him Magic Johnson, probably Tragic Johnson for the job he's done so far. It's been that bad.
I know. It's
no
harsh.
way. And when people say it's been a total failure, it has. Nobody, not you, and not you, Jenny, thought that the Lakers wouldn't make the playoffs when LeBron James came here, even with the injury.
True.
How many consecutive years has the Lakers missed the playoffs?
It's 6 now.
So was Magic the GM all those 6
No, he
years?
wasn't.
So let me ask you a question. Who gave Lou Alding 4 years, $72 million?
It wasn't Magic.
Hold on, wait a minute now. You had Skip. Didn't he have his turn to talk?
I'm sorry.
This is not. I'm posing this to you, but this is not a rhetorical question. I don't want you to answer.
Okay, be quiet.
Who gave Tim Mozgov 4 years, $64 million? Was that Magic or Mitch Kupchak? So I believe a lion's share of the
Jim Buss.
I believe it's Kupchak and Jim Buss because for 4 years before Magic arrived, this was in a tailspin. Magic said this is only his second year on the job.
Yep.
So I think we need to get now. He was gearing up for 2018, 2019 because it was going to be the big year of the free agency. He got one. No matter if you say, well, LeBron was coming here anyway, he still got him. He's in the Lakers uniform. So if he gets one more, he will have done what he said he's going to lure 2 big-time free agents.
Yep.
He said, I'm clearing cap space so we can have the space to get 2. He has one. He has to get one more. Skip, look. And we say LeBron doesn't have the impact, but the players that he's playing with, do they have the impact? I don't think so. So that goes into it as well. LeBron needs pieces. I don't care how good of a puzzle solver you are. If you're missing pieces, you can't put it together, Rob.
Did LeBron have anything to do with that roster? I'm asking you, Shannon. Did he have any input, yes or no?
I don't think, hold on. The way I look at it is like when you go into a new situation. When I first came here, I ain't asked for anything. I'm happy to have a job. Now, maybe a couple of years in, I might be asking for some things now. But beforehand, so now it might be a little different. I believe the first year, Brian was like, oh, that's what you want to do? Okay, go ahead. I'm not so sure this year around, Rob, LeBron is going to be as receptive or acceptive of what's going on.
Interesting. So the reason we just read this anonymous quote, scathing quote, is because The Athletic polled a dozen league sources and asked them to rank the 3 teams now outside of the playoffs, based on this current standings, with the brightest futures. Right. So it was on a point system. And Dallas, because they got and
they got
Kristaps
coming, right?
So they got 32 points to lead the way by far. Sacramento was second with 25. Atlanta was third with 22. And then you have to go way down here past Chicago. Here's
Chicago.
Past under Chicago is the Lakers with 5. Chicago got 7, and Lakers got 5. So all these executives, these insiders, are all saying the Lakers have a very bleak future. Now, again, I keep telling you, there's one magic potion that would change everything. If KD and Kyrie just suddenly said, let's just go to L.A. and save the Lakers and save LeBron's legacy and help him win one more championship or maybe a couple, 3 more, who knows? That would do it. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Sure, but what are the chances of that?
Okay. Well,
Now
I
that
think
KD just listed his top 5 players, greatest players of all time, and LeBron wasn't on the list.
Well, okay. Well, maybe that would be a reason he wants to
Well,
go
Steph
help
lifted
him.
his, and he wasn't on the list. So what?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, again, now we got KD mad at him, and he's mad at KD, and I don't know. But on July the 1st, who knows what KD and Kyrie, who can be sort of childlike and knee-jerk reactionary in their thinking, who knows what they might just suddenly decide to do?
Yeah.
Well, that would change everything.
Absolutely.
And to your point, if KD merely leaves Golden State, it cracks the door open. Just cracks the door open in the West. But as much as I love Magic Johnson, I can't defend the moves that he's made because people forget he did right out of the box when he got the job. He traded Lou Williams. I love Lou Williams.
I did
you
too.
know, come
I
on.
did too.
Best
Come
6th
on.
man off the bench, man.
Gonna probably win the award again this year.
Right? And we can
been
go into second and third level thinking here and what's the big picture, but he let Julius Randle walk and go, and he let Brook Lopez go, and Brook Lopez has been a great fit with LeBron as that stretch shooter. Yeah. Wow, he can shoot threes. And, to your point, as much as I love Lonzo, he has been injury prone. And so Magic he didn't sign off. He said his jersey is going to hang in the rafters.
Absolutely.
Okay, with the number 2 overall pick, number 2 is going to hang in the rafters. Well, I can't defend that so far. That may change. Yeah. So then we get all the way down to the Zubats trade, which I'm just dumbfounded by because you loved him. I liked him a lot. And now he's a Clipper? He's a Clipper. For Muscala. What? And Muscala doesn't even contribute. That was a bad idea.
Very.
That could turn out to be a really bad idea. Yeah. So Magic has not distinguished himself so far, but in Jeannie Buss's latest podcast that she did, she makes it very clear that she loves Magic. She said no 2 people could be any closer than we are as executives, and she loves Luke Walton because in her years with Phil Jackson when they were partners, she said that Luke always said, Bill Walton may be Luke's dad, but Luke is my son, said Phil Jackson. Well, so Jeannie probably considers Luke a little bit like her son. Well, I don't know that she wants to part ways with Luke, and I don't know that she can objectively view how Magic has operated as a GM. So that's why I think the executives are just sitting back saying, man, LeBron is aging, and unless you land the biggest fishes, what are you going to do?
Go ahead, Rob.
But if you don't, just look at where they are, especially if you can't convince New Orleans to make a trade.
And I don't believe that. Unless we get that ping pong ball. We get that number 1 ping pong
You
ball.
ain't
Look at
You ain't
why
getting
you get so
Hey,
upset?
it's 3%.
That's okay.
Chance.
The
Yeah.
Cavaliers got it
You
with
ain't
1%.
getting it. You ain't getting it.
Why you hating?
I'm just saying.
Are you suggesting it's going to be rigged?
No, as soon as we get it, that's what he's going to say. It's a conspiracy. Skip, you know it. No way, no how, Skip. They had a 3% chance, and they got this ping pong ball, and they traded it for AD and True Holiday.
Both. Ooh.
That's what you got.
Yep.
You want to bet something on that?
No, I don't want to bet anything.
Okay.
Skip, the Magic said give him 2 years, give him 2 summers. 18, 19.
He said that.
He said give him 2
I
summers.
agree.
I'm going to give him 2 summers.
But I think that's why I think that he realizes what a mess it was. That's why they panicked this year with the AD thing, which helped derail the team by putting it out there. Because the original plan was the first year, let's take a look at everything, am I right? Yeah. And then we'll decide who's going to fit, who's going to stick, and what moves we need to make. And then all of a sudden it accelerated to, we got to have AD now. We got to trade everybody.
But Skip.
And the season went by the wayside.
Magic didn't know that AD was going to fire his representation, hire Rich Paul, demand a trade, and one of the options was the Lakers. Hold on, what you mean, let it play out? We got a chance to get AD? Okay, what do we need to do to get AD?
That was a LeBron production.
Yes, it was.
That was AD. AD grown man.
He ain't no, let me tell you something. He was influenced.
So did LeBron pull his finger up last night when he was walking out the stadium? Did LeBron do that too?
You didn't see the string? Look close.
Exactly. Y'all believe it? AD. When he flipped the fan off, you hear the fan in the background saying, forget you, AD. So stop blaming LeBron for everything, Skip. AD is a grown man. He wants to take ownership of his own career. He says it's important about my legacy, not money. So now he wants to play for the Lakers. See, all this could have been what? Lakers could have had AD. New Orleans could have had a nice little pieces. Instead, him being hard-headed Dale Demps, he's without a job.
He was going to be out of a job regardless.
No.
He was already on his way out.
So LeBron led poor AD down the path to nowhere.
No, he didn't. AD
He
grown.
turned him into a villain.
You can't lead a grown man.
did.
A grown man making $150 million and somebody else can lead you somewhere. Stop it. You ought to be
I
ashamed.
think he did
that.
get led.
No,
I think
he
he
didn't.
went completely out of character. And I co-signed on it. Because I thought LeBron was powerful enough to do that.
To make it happen.
No, I knew that wasn't going to happen because for that very reason what you said. They were going to show him, LeBron James, you ain't running nothing over here. You might run the Lakers, but you don't run the Pelicans. So he tried to buck up and leaking information. Now
Only
what?
go up from here, I guess.
that's
is
the
what we
question.
could say.
Now what?
Because they still only had 35 wins. I know they have 3 games left, but that's the same record as last year, and that hurts.
That ain't good. That hurts.
with
That
the
hurts.
King.
That hurts. I mean, that does not feel
Rob,
good for a lot of people.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you're just gonna look
You
away.
mean the king emeritus?
Okay.
Isn't he emeritus?
No.
Shannon's just
Okay,
stop.
you laughing at everybody. You and
Everybody's
Rob,
laughing
I want you
now.
to come back next year. I want you to come back next year in October, November.
ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Rob
started
will
the
always
season like
be ready.
20-4.
Thank
With
you
KD
for
and
being
Kyrie.
here. Have a good weekend,
Thank you.
Rob.
That
All right.
worked.
Would you rather have Joel Embiid or the Greek Freak?
That's a good
Skip
question.
and Shannon make their picks next.
No mercy.
The Bucks beat the Sixers last night to clinch the best record in the NBA. Early in the game, the story was Eric Bledsoe got ejected for throwing the ball at Joel Embiid. But then it turned into a battle between 2 of the best players in the league. The Greek Freak was unstoppable, finishing with 45 points, 13 boards. Embiid was equally great with 34 points and a triple-double. But Giannis blocked Embiid 4 times and got the win. So, Shannon, who would you take going forward? Are you going with Giannis or Embiid?
Well, these are 2 great choices, but I think I'm going to lean towards Giannis, Skip,
Okay.
for the simple fact Joel Embiid's size and his injury history. He missed his first 2 years in the league, and, it's hard for him to play these back-to-back nights. They've been having him on a load management schedule.
Yep.
But when I look at Giannis and what he did last night, Skip, if I'm not mistaken, he probably sold up the MVP with that performance last night.
Could have.
James Harden's been unbelievable. And I still like James Harden for the MVP. But watching Giannis, watching that ball game, he was special. He was special. And down the stretch, he was even better than he was in the beginning of the game. Here's the guys, 27, 12, 6, 2, and 2. He's playing both ends of the court.
You're talking about for the year.
For the year.
Yeah.
Giannis, he might be, Skip, when we talk about these two-way players, we always throw Kawhi, we throw Paul George out there. He's in that category now. He might be, I don't know if he's the on-ball defender that Kawhi and Paul George is, but his defensive prowess around the rim. He blocked Joel Embiid 4 times last night.
A couple of them were from the side.
Right. But he blocked that dunk. He blocked that dunk and
I
pinned it.
think he fooled him on that. Joel wasn't quite ready for that.
And the thing is, he's shooting 31% from the All-Star break. That's up, Skip. But if he can get his three-point shot, if he can knock it down at about a 35% rate, I don't know how you stop him. Because the guy can take 2 dribbles from half court.
He's not there yet.
Yeah, but Skip, he made enough of them. And now he's getting good from the free throw line, 16 to 21, Skip. So how do you stop him? I mean, he was 45, 15. What do you have? 45, 13, and 6 with 5 blocks and 0 turnovers? Oh, nah, Skip. I don't know what you do with that.
I know what I did with it last night. How about 34, 13, and 13 from Joel Embiid?
And took that L.
13 assists?
And guess who came to my
That's
restaurant?
like Wilt-like.
Guess who
isn't
came
it?
to my restaurant?
Well,
That was back open?
Yeah, right. No, just temporarily. Only Giannis came in.
Only Giannis. Good to know.
what was most special to me last night was just having the privilege of watching these two go at it, because it was big time.
And they were going at it.
They were going at it, and I know it's just late season and it doesn't matter that much.
But there was a game.
But this was a game. These were the two new beasts of the East.
Yes.
And they were saying, can you top this? Yes, I can top this. Can you top that? And they went back and forth and back and forth. And I do think Joel ran out of gas a little bit because, to your injury point, he had missed 12 of the last 20 games. So he'd just come back from missing the last 3. So you got to give him a little bit of break because I just don't know how his shape and his wind is at this point, right?
And sometimes, Skip, what also concerns me about him, he falls in love with the 3. He took 9 again last night.
He is making 32% for his career, which is not terrible.
Yeah, the dude's 7'1", 7'2", 300. Get on the block.
Okay, so I've said this from the start, and I'm sticking with it. I am taking Joel Embiid for the long haul. And I'll tell you why. And again, if you get me on the injury, you get me on the injury. I don't know. They have babied him and tried to protect him, and they're doing okay with it. And remember, he's only played 3 seasons now. Giannis has played 6 years.
Yes.
Okay, so you got me on experience. But if I look at what's happened so far between these two statistically, Embiid is not a good free throw shooter. He's a really good free throw shooter. So he's a little better free throw shooter. It's now it's 79 to 74 for their career. Joel is 81% this year. We'll see. LeBron is 66.
Skip, this is not a LeBron topic.
66, and the big fellas make it 81% of his free throws. If we're looking at three-point, Embiid is clearly the better three-point shooter so far. Rebounds, Joel Embiid is a better rebounder. Block shots, he just blocks more shots than Giannis does. He just does. Career blocks. He's right up at 2. It's 1.9 to 1.3, and that's a big gap.
27,
okay,
12 and a half, and 6.
I got
That's
you.
what he averaged
I got
this
you.
year.
But listen, Joel Embiid, for his size and strength, he, as a mid-range lane jump shooter, he made a couple last night, like fall-away jump shots from 8 or 9 feet.
That's my point.
Okay, but I'd say, how can you do that at your size with that kind of touch and follow through?
Oh, he's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
He might be the closest thing. He's bigger than Elijah Wan, but his footwork reminds you a lot of Elijah Wan.
Now I'm going to the intangibles. There's something about Giannis I don't love. Like, he's not quite sure of himself. It's all like new to him. Do I belong in America? He's talked about, can I be the face of American basketball? Yep, I still got that. Okay. I still get the vibe.
He ain't going to be the face.
Hey.
But he's going to be the MVP.
Okay, well, that's fine. But give me Joel Embiid's confidence.
You like
he
that
has
swag.
Supreme swagger. He is a great trash talker, and he took pleasure and he took credit after the game for getting a little Bledsoe ejected because he just got under his skin. And he said, that's the second time I've got the best player on the other, not the best player, but one of the best players get him ejected. So he loved it. And Bledsoe went off, man. He just lost it.
But that's not a good thing, Joel Embiid. You got Bledsoe ejected, and y'all still took the L. And they had no Mirotic, and they had no Brogdon. So what you think is going to happen if they get him in the playoff? And again, Giannis put that thing on Ben Simmons. Because you remember
We're not talking about Ben Simmons.
You remember last time? You remember what happened last time? He told me he dunked on him, so he was soft. Soft. You ain't want none of me.
2 years ago, I had a Philly insider, a Sixers insider, tell me that the organization believes that long-term Ben Simmons will be better than Joel Embiid. Wrong.
No,
wrong. Nope. Joel is made of the right stuff, tough stuff, backbone stuff. He's got basketball hardcore intangibles. He is not afraid, and I don't know what Ben Simmons is.
You can't stop. I mean, dude's 7'1", 300 pounds. And got post move. He can, like you say, he can shoot the middle of mid-range. He does have three-point range, although I believe he falls in love with it too much. He can knock down 80% of his free throws. Oh, fundamentally, I mean, he plays both ends.
Yep.
And he's probably the last of the true big. He's a true 5.
He is true.
He's a true 5. All these other stretches.
Okay, so now we find out, because Giannis has not distinguished himself in the postseason yet either.
And he's 24. He's not that little skinny teenager from Greece. Skip. He's not that anymore.
Okay, well, Joel Embiid is just entering his 3rd year of the playoffs, so let's see what happens, because it's time for him to rise and shine. And again, let's see who takes over in the postseason. I'm going to give Joel a better shot.
Skip that. Well, here's the thing. The Bucks have far much more talent. I mean, Jimmy didn't play, so it's going to be very interesting because they had Joel Embiid trying to guard Giannis, and he was just back in the lane, kind of like they do Trey Jones or Duke. Skip, remember they like up under the basket, like you can't make that.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting. So Jimmy Butler probably would guard Giannis.
Okay.
If they were to meet in the playoffs.
Okay. But I can't That's a fair point, but Mike Scott did play, and he put up he had his career game, and that didn't even do it. So,
No.
But again, will Jimmy Butler help in the post? Yes, he will.
If anything, that game was just made you excited for what's to come, right?
But Skip, you can't look. Ben Simmons put up 5 shots. Ben Simmons had 6 points. What you gonna do? Come on now, you got to get more than that out of him. J.J. Redick gave you 29. Joel Embiid gave you 34. Mike Scott gave you 22. Okay, Tobias had an off night. They only gave you 13. But you got to get more points than Ben Simmons than
He
this.
did have 13 assists, so you got to give him that.
I need no score. I need to put the ball in the basket.
I'm
Giannis
not sure
has
that's what he
played
does.
over 300 more games, though, than Joel.
300.
Wow.
And he younger.
Wow.
And he just a little younger.
I guess
24,
he
Embiid.
must
I don't
be
know,
a-
Skip.
He must be a slow learner.
I don't know. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. I don't know, Skip.
It's
I might,
taken a long time.
I might have found my LeBron replacement. I might have found my
This your guy now?
I might have found him.
Really?
I don't know.
Are you just
I'm
looking
gonna
at
be
him?
watching. I'm
Looking
gonna
into his eyes?
be watching the playoffs real closely.
The new king of the East?
He might be the new king of the NBA.
Can we give him Prince?
He might be. Look, I got to start looking for guys.
I realize that.
gotta
I
start-
see that. I think we just found our new guy, didn't we?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, you need to get a little bit more swag.
Huh.
A little more swag.
Like LeBron, LeBron got that swag.
Sometimes
Well,
when
you
you're
jumped
an
on that
MVP,
Mahomes bandwagon.
Oh, but
too quick.
no.
I told you.
What you mean?
Don't do that.
Oh, my homeboy like that.
But we got him on the Baker bandwagon, so that's good.
No,
We want him over
I
there.
I like Bacon. I think they're gonna win and go get me a case of Dew. Might get him a
Okay.
couple of cases. But my
Well-
homeboy
Yeah.
might get him another MVP this
He
year.
got Brady twice last
Don't do that, Skip.
Let's
He
see what you
did.
guys
Not
think
Brady.
about this
The
next
defense
one.
got Brady twice.
maybe.
Bob Sutton gone, and all the defensive players on the defense gone.
Some NFL execs say the Cowboys are headed
What?
for a disappointing
Are you
season.
making that up?
No, that's real. That's real news. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
The Cowboys made a number of moves in free agency, but some NFL execs are not fans of the changes. The anonymous exec spoke to ESPN and said Dak will miss Cole Beasley because they had developed great chemistry over the last few years. Dallas replaced Beasley with Randall Cobb, and there are questions about his injury history. One anonymous exec said, quote, overall, Randall Cobb is an injury guy. Tavon Austin is an injury guy. Sean Lee is an injury guy. Minnesota signed George Iloka. Mike Zimmer had groomed him, and it did not work out. Robert Quinn could get 6 sacks in that defense, but he's in decline. Jason Witten returns, but what does that mean? A lot of stuff there. Shannon, do you agree with that exec?
Hold on. I'm not anonymous, and
No,
I'm
you're
not
not.
an NFL exec. But I could have swore I told you this, Skip Bayless. I just been preaching this, and now you don't. I agree 1,000%. Everything that man said, Skip, did I not tell you this?
Was this you being anonymously quoted? It might have been.
Got a side job?
Skip, ooh, this hurt. I told you, none of the moves that they made moved the needle. Oh, you talking about we got Jason Witten back at 37.
He's got new hair.
No, he got done.
I don't know if that's going
got
to make
old
him
hair.
younger,
Ooh,
though.
Skip, I don't know. I'm just gonna make sure.
Aerodynamic.
Yeah, faster.
Aerodynamic.
That's how it works now.
Whatever I get written in my contract, I'm taking with you. Take it with me. If I leave, Skip, I'm taking all the clothes. I'm taking everything. None of these moves move the needle, Skip. And I said Quinn, yeah, he might, but he hadn't been the same since he had that breakout season. He's hadn't had double-digit sacks since 2014. George Iloka, as the exec mentioned, Zimmer groomed him, and he was a backup. They doing everything they could to try to
groomed him in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati.
He didn't groom him. He played for him. He
Yeah,
was a starter for him.
yes.
Yeah.
But then he
started 75.
and then got him in Minnesota and couldn't get on the field. Got him, but now you really, he's gonna be rejuvenated in Dallas.
They're paying him all of $1 million a year for 1 year.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
okay. And so what that tell you?
Tells me he's going to be a valuable addition.
Minimal player,
Low cost, high value.
Okay, that's
Yep.
what you believe.
Yep.
Tavon Austin, injury. Randall Cobb, as I said, Skip, he had concussion and hamstring injuries. Sean Lee, always in. But you don't want to hear that from me. Skip, you know what, Skip, enough from me. I don't like being the bearer of bad news because it's about to be the weekend, and I don't want you to go into the weekend hearing all this bad news.
Okay.
So I'm going to shut up and let you take it away.
I'm not hearing a word you're saying because I loved what Jerry Jones finally woke up and pulled off. These were all value-added moves for 3 players. Injury.
Yeah.
The three players were all upon signing 28 years of age. Is that old? If you told me all three were 34,
What
I'd
does
say,
that tell
you?
you? What does that tell you?
It tells
Guys
you
in their prime,
in
Jenny.
the middle of their prime.
Yeah. And somebody say, I'm good.
Let's go back to Cole Beasley, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Because this makes the point that Beasley, chemistry with Dak, he was the go-to guy. Baloney,
Whoa.
he was the go-to guy.
Whoa, Skip,
Baloney.
really? I thought you liked Measly Beasley.
Measly Beasley, as you used to dismiss him. He did have one big Dak year when Dak was a rookie, and Dak maybe overvalued him. Maybe he got a little too obsessed with, I got to just flip it to the little guy.
Yeah.
And the little guy is a really little guy now. He goes 5'8", 174. And I read a great, it was an anonymous quote about Julian Edelman yesterday that I read on Yahoo, I believe, about how strong Julian Edelman is and how high IQ and what a wavelength he has with Tom Brady. Well, again, Julian Edelman goes 5'10", 200 pounds. So you're dealing with a whole different beast there.
Is that all
okay?
him?
Huh?
Is that all him?
Well, I don't know. He did get suspended for said suggestion, right? Okay, but I'm saying he plays much bigger.
Oh, yeah,
than
yeah.
Cole
They're
Beasley does,
totally
okay?
different. I mean, their body types totally
And I'm not
different.
sure about Cole Beasley's football IQ because it was always seemed a little hazy to me.
He was
about
right
that.
where he's supposed to be.
Yeah. But
And
he can rap. He can really rap.
And considering Dak's not throwing the ball down the field, he
Okay.
needed a Cole Beasley.
Okay, well, guess what?
What?
He just got a much better Cole Beasley because Randall Cobb has had seasons that are much better.
Yeah.
Like if you look at best season, because that 2016 for Cole was 75 catches for 833 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yes.
Look what Randall did in 2014. Again, Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. 91 catches for 1,287 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's like any big-time split wideout. I know he's a slot receiver, but that's big-time team-leading catches.
He hadn't been comparable.
Okay?
He hadn't been close to those
He made
numbers
the
since.
Pro Bowl.
And he hadn't been close to
He
those
made
numbers
the Pro
since.
Bowl, and he's going to be revitalized the way most people are when they join America's team in Jerry World.
That's not true,
All of
Skip.
a sudden, it's like, I've found heaven,
Yeah.
right? You put that star on that helmet.
Well, I mean, he'll be okay.
things start happening.
He's happy.
Things
He
change.
missed the playoff the last 2 years in Green Bay. He'll miss it
Okay.
for a third year
No,
now.
he's right in the middle of the action.
Skip, you know they're as you mentioned, they're 28 years of age,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody said, "Nah, we good."
Hmm.
When do you ever know somebody let a 28-year-old pass rusher go? They can't find enough of them because the quarterback.
Okay, but the anonymous quote here says he could get 6 sacks. I would take 6 sacks from Robert Quinn like now.
He could.
Thank you.
He could.
Okay.
But
he's in decline at age 28. I don't
Yeah.
think he's in decline.
well, he hadn't had that big monster day since 14.
Bargain signing. So, okay, did Randall Cobb have a hamstring? He probably
Yeah.
tore it last year.
And concussions.
Okay, but he played 9 games, and that was the first time he had an injury-riddled season. Is he an injury guy? Well, he was last year. This year, the odds, his history would tell you he'll be just fine.
Oh, that's
this
what his
year.
history tell you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You looked at the chart, doctor?
Well, I have. I've looked at all the games played because he hasn't had that happen in any other year that he's played.
Okay.
Okay? So now we get back to George Iloka. Well, he was a veteran, long-time starter. I don't know what happened in Minnesota. Maybe they were just loaded. They had too much on defense.
No, because they got rid of Zendejo.
Yeah.
And Harrison was hurt. The guys were nicked in and out. And that was his opportunity to shine. And he couldn't shine.
Well, he will shine this year because they need him to shine. We got another case on that.
You
don't even think he'll be a starter. I do.
George, Heath ain't going anywhere. Heath ain't going anywhere.
Heath, he
I
goes
love
nowhere.
Heath.
I know where he was going that night here at the Coliseum. He was going on his back.
Whoa.
Thanks to C.J. Anderson.
No, where was the wolf hunter? He ain't got no business dealing with the wolf hunter. I mean, TJ.
So you're dismissing Sean Lee as an injury guy? Well, fine. I got the wolf hunter. I got Jalen Smith.
Where was he? Where were they?
Sean Lee is a backup. So how can you include him in the injury guy
Actually, he's
list?
not going to be a backup. They're going to
Okay.
move him to Sam. They're going to move him to strong side backer.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know about that. I think you're going to see mostly those 2 kids playing.
Oh, that's what you
'Cause
want to
they
see.
light it up and they go sideline to sideline.
Well, they should have been going north and south when CJ was coming downhill
know where they
and Todd Gurley was coming downhill.
I think the wolf hunter ate some bad meat.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't howling that night.
Wasn't howling. Tavon Austin is dismissed as an injury guy.
Yeah.
He's had one big injury in his career, and it was last year.
Gadget.
He tore his groin.
How about Gadget guy?
Hey, gadget guy, I'll take him. Running little slot reverses. You watch what happens if he stays healthy.
He can't.
Huh? Do you remember when he was healthy? He was running by people and catching bombs.
He caught one ball.
You're getting scared. I can
caught
see
one-
it in your
he
face
caught
right
one
now.
ball. Skip, he caught one
I can
ball.
see it in your face.
You're not making the
think he
playoffs.
was that scared.
You're not making the
Not
playoffs.
making the playoffs. Were these not great little moves?
No, they were
And
little moves.
You've got Amari Cooper as the new go-to guy. So what do I care about
They were
Randall Cobb?
little moves
Yeah.
that will have no impact.
Little big moves.
No.
All of them.
Y'all should've kept
I
Cole
love my
Beasley.
team. Kept Cole Beasley over Randall Cobb. You know that's wrong. Right now, vacuum. Who's the better receiver? You killed him
Beasley.
for years. He was all over Cole Beasley.
Beasley had a great rapport. Sometimes it's not about who's being better, but who has a better rapport.
Okay, better rapport. Dak and Cole or Dak and Amari? Oh, I got you again.
Yeah.
Oh, Cole.
I got you again.
The third down catches on the third.
You know what he's going to be this year? He's going to be Cold Beasley. Because he's going to be cold in Buffalo.
Skip.
You can rename him Cold
Did have that
Beasley.
mean tweet though about Dallas. How they hadn't won anything.
Yeah, you all Skip upset about that.
He just hurt.
What he hurt about?
He got dumped.
No, because he
Got
knew.
dumped.
He's like, let me go on and get over in Buffalo. Buffalo might make something happen.
Buffalo's going to make nothing happen but the basement. Yeah.
Hold on, y'all gonna be in the basement? No, Giants gonna be in the basement, but y'all be third from the basement.
Third from the basement?
No, second. Y'all finish second. Washington. Washington.
Wait, we're going to finish third in the division?
No, y'all gonna finish second in the division.
Second
Oh, you're going to give us second.
Second.
Oh, wow.
Nice of
Because
him.
you know who at the top floor.
Huh.
You know in the pit
know
house.
where you're
You
gonna
know
go.
who in the pit house.
Are you picking the Redskins?
Oh, walking to him.
Oh.
Now they made some moves. D-Jack, Malik Jackson, Jordan Howard. Those are moves that move the needle. It's like when you go to the gas station, gas $4 a gallon, and you put in $3.50. You ain't moved the needle.
You lost your best quarterback. Case closed.
No, we did not.
Case closed.
We get a healthy walking to him. Now the last time I remember him healthy,
And
He's about to be the MVP.
speaking of Case, I kind of like the Redskins better than I like the Eagles.
Speaking of Case, how about that guy?
yeah, I got a case in my car if you think Case Keenum gonna be better walking to him.
You guys are on such opposite sides when it comes to this division. It's always entertaining.
Because he thinks the
I
Cowboys,
got this.
those
I
moves.
got this.
Hold on.
This is all, you know what? I hate to use this word, but this is just ignorance.
Okay. Here's the thing, though, Skip Bayless. If they decide Michael Irvin, a 28-year-old Michael Irvin, okay. Where is that at? Who they sign?
His name's Amari Cooper.
Oh.
What are
so
you
let me get.
talking
Is
about?
Robert Quinn Charles Haley?
No, but who is ever Charles
Oh,
Haley?
okay.
Who's ever been Charles Haley? That's a one and only.
All I know is Miami said, nah, we good.
Look at that smile on Jerry's face.
He's happy.
He don't
You're
know
happy.
better.
You keep saying we got
He's
this.
smiling
I feel like
now.
you're trying to convince
I got
you.
this.
Talk back
us.
to me in December.
We'll get back to
I'll
this.
be
I'm sure
sipping
we'll
in
go back to
No,
this.
you won't.
Don't
You
worry,
can be
guys.
sipping anything.
This is an interesting story. Is LaVar Ball back in charge of
What?
Lonzo? We have some interesting details to tell you about next.
No mercy.
Friend of the show, Chris Haynes, has a new report for Yahoo this morning that LaVar Ball is back running the show for Lonzo. LaVar has been meeting with agents on Lonzo's behalf and asking how those agents can get all three of his kids on the same NBA team. Haynes wrote, quote, multiple agents have reached out to gauge the interest of Lonzo Ball, but most became uninterested once notified LaVar is still running the show. Shannon, what is your reaction to this?
Well, look, at the end of the day, LaVar Ball is Lonzo's father. And the son is going through something. So for him to naturally just totally turn away from his dad, I think was foolish for him. That's still his son. He still wants what's best for his son, even though his business partner allegedly took some money from his son. But Skip, he got to give this up. It's ruining his son. They don't want the middle son. It's not sure they're going to want the baby boy. You have one son that's NBA talent, we know because he's in the NBA. But you're doing damage. They don't want all three kids. That's your pipe dream. That's not theirs. Again, it's all about him. I always believe in all this triple B's, because he got three boys, I still believe the Big Baller brand was about him, not the boys.
Yeah,
this is about him. Because most parents, 99.9.9 and 70,000 nines after that, would say, if I got three boys that are in the NBA, I'm good with that. But not him. I want my boys to play together. Same story over and over again. And they call, agents reach out. Oh, really? Okay, play it. This is ridiculous.
That is
Skip.
true. That's what's going to happen again and again. They're going to have to get some no-name startup agent from nowhere. I was so deflated when I heard this Chris Haynes report because I was so happy yesterday when I heard that Lonzo had fired his agent, and that's no disrespect to the agent, and I don't think it was about the agent. I just thought Lonzo's growing up and he's taking over.
You thought it was clean and slate.
Fresh start.
You know, and I hear what you say about kin, blood. I said several times, I wish I'd had LaVar Ball to be my father. I do, because there's a lot of good there. Does he overlove his sons, love them to a fault? Yeah, you can make that case. But at some point, number one son needs to just say, I am my own man. You taught me everything that I know, but now it's time for me to make my way in this world on my own 2 feet. And that didn't happen. And what you said to start your remarks was true. Like, I don't want to push for son to be estranged from father because it's just not right. But sometimes you just need to make your own way. You need to part ways business-wise. You need to professionally, you need to part ways. You can still be father's son, although I think he's as much his mother's son as his father's. But in the end, you need to establish your own professional ground rules and build your own team around you. Because look, in the end, truth be told, LaVar is nothing without Lonzo.
No.
Right?
He got this
None
started.
of this would have happened without Lonzo Ball.
He wasn't trying to get no shoe company before Lonzo.
No.
He wasn't doing no water before Lonzo. This
Nobody
is him.
knew who he was
This started
before
on
Lonzo.
Lonzo's back.
Right.
And Skip, for me, if I thought he was getting a fresh start too, had the double, triple Bs covered up. But for me, if you're going to allow LaVar to do what he's done all along, call the shots, interview people for you, you're back to square one. You haven't changed anything.
You are. So you got rid of the business partner who allegedly stole from you.
Right.
So that was good. That's a fresh start. But you didn't get rid of the point man who chose that business.
Yeah,
partner,
who brought
right?
the point? Who brought the guy to you?
Yeah. And now he's playing, I assume, LaVar, on Lonzo's emotions. Like, you need to sacrifice part of yourself for your two brothers because you need to carry them with you wherever you go.
Yeah,
well, is that realistic?
Not really realistic.
Lonzo's a lot better than me because this is the way I look at it. If I got a friend and he brings a friend and the friend comes to my house and steals something, I'm done with both of y'all. You responsible for him.
That is true, except the friend's not your blood.
Right. No, but I'm still, he's still gonna be my blood. But you're not handling anything else for me. I ain't got that kind. Now, if I was Jeff Bezos, I could lose $1 million. He's 36 billion lighter. What's 36 billion to old?
He'd still be
Go to bed. You go to bed. Just think. I wish I could go to bed one day and wake up. I'm the third richest person in the world. God, man, that'd be a great.
Is that your goal in
Never
life?
see him again.
No. Money, no. That's not my. I'm good, Skip. I'm good. You know
Not what you just said.
No, that would be a great feeling because I have something that most people will never have, Skip. I have enough. I'm good.
Okay, I'll accept that. LaVar doesn't have all that he wants because he wants more. He has become an international household name because of his number one son and because of his outsized personality and all of his proclamations and declarations. But there's one thing I just don't believe he'll be able to speak into existence, and that is 3 sons playing for the same NBA team. I just don't see it because the middle son, I like him a lot, but I just don't think he's got NBA game.
Right.
I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it.
Let him play tight end.
Nobody, let him play tight end.
And LaMelo, he's either apparently going to play in Australia or China next year.
What a sad ride that kid's been on.
Let me ask you a question.
He lost his high school. He's going to lose his 1 year of college.
If somebody would have told, do you think LaVar, when he was mapping out, because you remember he got this thing all mapped out, that his son would be playing in China or Australia?
Nope.
I don't think so.
I don't think that was part of the original.
No, of course not. But, man, they didn't let this go.
Remember what LaVar told us the last time he sat right there, which was 6-8 weeks ago? All 3 of my boys will play in Phoenix for the Suns. Really? It's going to happen.
But you can't be certain that Phoenix wants your oldest boy, let alone the other 2.
We don't
I
even know where
think
he's
Phoenix
going.
could use his oldest son. I don't know.
I hope that maybe one day we'll go, wow, that really worked out. But it just doesn't feel realistic right now. And we want the best for Lonzo. We want him to have a bright future. He's got a lot to offer.
He's a good kid, and he's got a lot of game.
You want to see him have that. Okay, Michigan State has a huge game tomorrow night, but is Kirk Cousins the right guy to motivate the Spartans? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Former Michigan State Spartan Kirk Cousins is expected to give a pep talk to his alma mater later today before their big Final Four game tomorrow. The game is in Minneapolis, but there's one problem here. Cousins has never won a playoff game in his 7 years in the NFL. I wish that was different, considering he's in Minnesota now. But Skip, what is your reaction?
Jenny, Michigan State is now doomed. Michigan State will lose to Texas Tech. What have I always told you about Kirk Cousins, your second or third cousins now? Underconfident overachiever. Do you realize Kirk Cousins now is the most overpaid quarterback in the history of pro football? His record as a starter in the NFL is 34, 37-2, and as Jenny points out, he is 0-1 in his one playoff game. And you want that guy to inspire your team? Tom Izzo, what are you thinking?
What, is Magic Johnson not available?
There you go. I'd take that.
What about Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah,
Bo
there
Peterson?
you go. That works.
Of all the people that
went
to Michigan State.
What?
Hell, call Jamel Hill. She's available.
That works.
Anybody other than Kirk Cousins, what motivated him to do? What is he gonna say? You like that? You like that, huh?
What is he gonna say?
Skip.
No, seriously.
Coach Izzo.
Do what I do. Do what do you do?
What you do?
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to talk about
all the
diversity.
people, of all the people that went to Michigan State, I'm sure there's someone out there that we don't know that went to Michigan State that would be better suited for this role.
Gregory Kelser? I don't know. How about?
What about Magic?
Yeah, Magic works.
It's just start with Magic. Magic, you available? No. Okay, we not.
Okay,
I will get a pep talk.
I'll pep talk.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like I should stand up for Kirk here. He'll be fine, guys.
How about
He'll be
Shannon
fine.
Sharpe?
No mercy.
Thank you for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Keep an eye out for the weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, featuring this week's best segments. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.